fine. It's always YouTube.
You know that paper is more sophisticated now than computers.
Come on, YouTube. You can do it. There it is. Okay. It's working. Thank God. Give me 5 more seconds. Look at, hey, Leah. Hey, Steph. Sorry. I have no idea what just happened. We're back on YouTube. Let me just set up the super chat goal and then we'll get this party started. Okay, Jesus, it's a Monday. Okay, first of all, there's only 147 people in here, so remind me to say this at least a couple more times once more people trickle in, but Matt was in DC last week, doing all the stuff he does. He will be back, or he is back. So tomorrow, our normal Tuesday live with USMC Angry Veteran and I, oh my God, I'm going to say it wrong. 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing our regular time tomorrow. So, sometimes it's iffy on Tuesdays if Matt goes to DC and I know he's traveling all the time. He's doing all sorts of things. So, but I talked to him this morning. He's back and we will be doing a live tomorrow. So again, 1 p.m. Eastern, because we used to do it earlier, but he used to do stuff with the kiddos in the morning. So 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, we'll do a live together, which it's always great to have Matt. And he can explain what he's been up to. I mean, I've seen some videos. I saw him all over DC, so he can tell us where he's been and what he's been doing, because it's always interesting to hear. Okay, and I don't want to take personal... I feel like, I'm going to move my... Oh, never mind. I guess on my iPad I look normal. I feel like the chat is smaller though. Hold on. This is I like to make sure the chat is reasonably large. Okay. I'm going to try to make my camera box a little smaller so the chat is bigger. Yeah, that's better. Because it looks ridiculous down there. Okay. I don't know. Sometimes when I re-download TikTok Studio, it's like things have moved. Okay. I think that's good. Oh my God. I don't want to take pleasure about what I'm about to do, but I mean, for like 3 years, I've been talking about how much I cannot stand this man and how horrible he is for education. So, I mean, is it kind of convenient that finally we find out he's a perv? I mean, I don't know. It's always the ones that are screaming the loudest, I'm just saying, it's always the ones that are yelling the loudest about Jesus Christ that turn out to be the weirdos. Just in my estimation. I always talked about this, which, let me open it, because I'm going to open my own copy of my outline. Because it's just going to be easier. If only I didn't have 100 windows open. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, it'll be easier for me to read from this screen. Okay, so, and if you've been watching the People's Receipts for a long time, you know my absolute passion of hating Ryan J. Walters. As a former teacher, what he's done to education in Oklahoma is a GD crime. I always talk about how Arizona, we moved up. We were 49. Well, I'm trying to get this right now. Yeah, we were 49 in education in the States. And because Oklahoma's test scores in math and science have dropped so abysmally, like we actually moved up to 48. I think Hawaii might be 49. And Oklahoma is 50th in the United States in education because Ryan J. Walters thinks the most important thing he should be doing is, spending millions of dollars on Trump Bibles, buying them for $50 a pop. Well, it turns out Ryan Walters has corn on his computer and it started playing during like a meeting, a literal like education board meeting in Oklahoma. Ryan J. Walters has his like computer connected to a big screen and corn starts playing. Here, let me just read some of this. And then I clipped like just a couple influencers who were talking about it, but you kind of, and instead of just being like, oh man, like this happened and there's no getting around it. In true MAGA fashion, he's just like, I don't know what they're talking about. I didn't see it. And like everyone in the meeting's like, yeah, we were just all of a sudden watching corn and we didn't know why. And it was his computer at his presentation and we told him to shut it off. And he's like, he's just gaslighting everyone. So MAGA school chief, he's the superintendent of schools of Oklahoma. That is the technical title. Ryan J. Walters, who again, I just want to remind everyone, he is an avid Christian nationalist. His wife runs a Christian nationalist PR firm where she represents Christian nationalist politicians and does PR for them. One of her clients is Russ Vogt, the architect of Project 2025. Yeah, like that is one of her clients. All these people are connected in different ways, but Ryan J. Walters is particularly disgusting. If I have time, I'll find these. I used to play videos. I was going to say funny. It's not funny. It's disgusting. But if you remember, he was trying to get Trump's attention. He wanted to be in charge of dismantling the Department of Education. So he would make these like creepy videos in his car where he would like yell. He's employed libs of TikTok, right? I mean, he's done horrific things to the education system in Oklahoma. So Ryan Walters is under fire after corn, insert a P instead of the C, images were playing on the screen in his office during a board meeting, during a education board meeting. Walters has mandated Bible study in classrooms, even purchased Trump Bibles with taxpayer funds for schools. Since he was elected in 2022, he has been a culture warrior crusader, investigating woke teachers. If you remember, this is the guy I played clips of him being like, if you're gay and you're a teacher, we're going to find you. Like, I'm setting up a tip line, gay teachers, and we're going to find you. Like, this is that guy. It's always the ones screaming the loudest that turn out to be the absolute creepiest. Board members Ryan Deathrage and Becky Carson told the Oklahoman they were stunned by what they saw in the closed door meeting. This is from Carson. Quote, I was like, those are naked women. I saw them just walking across the screen. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I even have to use this language, but I'm like, those are her nipples. Then I'm like, that's pubic hair. What in the world am I watching? I didn't watch a second longer. I was so disturbed by it. I was like, what is on your TV? I was very stern, like I'd been a mother or a classroom teacher. I said, what am I watching? Turn it off now. Oh, sorry. I actually have these. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot I have. Let me make sure you guys are caught up with what I'm reading. Quentin Hitchcock, spokesman. So this is spokesman for Walters. Remember I said his wife runs a Christian nationalist PR firm who represents people like Russ Vogt, the office of, the guy helping Trump dismantle the checks and balances of democracy with Project 2025. So Quentin Hitchcock, apparently, I guess he has a PR person now, probably through his wife, served up this lame statement. So again, this is the guy that said he was, getting woke out of schools and children had gotten away from God and they had to bring the Bible back to school. And he's having a board meeting and his computer is playing corn, graphic corn. And other board members are screaming at him to shut the computer off. Any number of people have access to these offices. You have a hostile board who will say anything. So those are two different things. Are you saying someone broke into Ryan Walters' computer, or are you saying a board member is making this up because they're hostile? Those are two different things. Terrible PR. You have a hostile board who will say and do anything except tell the truth. And now the Woklahoman, which is a newspaper, is reporting on an alleged random TV cable image. It can't be both. Are you alleging that someone broke into his computer? There are cameras in schools. I what are you talking about? There's cameras, like, Which one? What are you saying? It seems like you're just flailing around making things up. The two people that witnessed this, Death Rage and Carson, said Walters immediately rose from the table, turned the screen off. Death Rage, when he came back to the table, there was no discussion. There was no apology. He moved on with our meeting. Board member Chris Vandenhent, quote, I did not see what was described on TV. I can only confirm that Walters was shook up. Board member Michael Tinney, he was obviously a little flustered or embarrassed. Vandenhend, I suppose the state legislature could start impeachment proceedings personally right now for getting this and putting this aside. And this is, like, as an former educator, this is the real thing. What this guy said is like, yes, like this is the point. I suppose the state legislature could start impeachment proceedings personally right now for getting this and putting this to the side. I think just being 50th in education is an impeachable offense. It absolutely is. I mean, the guy that said we need Trump Bibles to bring God back in schools is playing corn on his computer during meetings for everyone to watch. I mean, yes, he needs to go away. But the fact that he went from 48th in education to 50th while yelling about caring about children, and particularly their math and science scores have suffered, that is, in my mind, like unforgivable. Oklahoma's Republican House Speaker Kyle Hibbert, I urge the state superintendent to unlock and turn over all relevant devices and fully cooperate with an investigation. If no wrongdoing occurred, a prompt and transparent review should quickly clear his name. And Governor Kevin Stitt, who effing hates this guy, Governor Kevin Stitt hates this man. Should the allegation be true, all I could say is that I am profoundly disappointed. And Stitt is the most conservative, like he doesn't care if people learn or not, and he hates Ryan J. Walters. Walters first issued this brief statement. This is the gaslighting I'm talking about. And so, like, he's just like, I don't know what anyone's talking about. Just because everyone was watching corn during a board meeting, like, they're all making it up. These board members are blatantly dishonest. It is disappointing that they are more interested in creating distractions than getting work done for Oklahoma families. Then he posted on X later, as I lead the charge for a bold overhaul of education in Oklahoma, putting parents back in control, rejecting radical agendas. You mean like corn that you had on a government device, like those type of radical agendas that you said you were saving children from, but then it turns out you're a creep? Yeah, it's crazy. And demanding excellence. Yeah, you dropped from 48th in education in the United States to 50th while you've been in this job. You have done the opposite of your job. You've denied education. You're saying that Trump won the 2020 election in history, that black people learned a lot from the transatlantic slave trade. You hired libs of TikTok to be a consultant. You've got Prager University as meaningful educational content in your schools. You wasted the entire school budget paying full price for Trump Bibles and I sat through the school board meeting, when in fact a Bible is available for every child on a tablet, and you just were trying to get Trump to make you in charge of the Department of Education, and you thought that would impress him. Yeah, I mean, who could ever question your decision making? I have no knowledge of what was on the wait, hold on, I gotta show you this. I have no knowledge of what was on the TV screen during the alleged incident, and there is absolutely no truth to any implication of wrongdoing. Every person involved in this, all of the witnesses that saw it, are all conservative Republicans appointed by even more conservative Republicans. These falsehoods are the desperate tactics of a broken establishment afraid of real change. They aren't just attacking me, they're attacking the values of the Oklahomans who elected me to challenge the status quo. Trust me, bro. Look, and I didn't write this. This is Ron Filipkowski's reporting. Can you guys see what he wrote underneath? I'm not reading that out loud, but I just think it's funny that he wrote it. Just that's how Ron Philip Kansky titled the photo. And if you were like, why did he choose this photo? When Ryan J. Walters was first starting out and trying to like impress Trump with his Christian nationalist insanity, he would go like scream, make videos and scream in his car. And he's like, we got to get out the gay teachers. We're going to find them all. We're going to find, like, that's in his car screaming hysterically. And now this guy had a board meeting and was playing graphic corn while the other conservative Republicans on the board watched it and screamed at him to shut it off. And instead of taking any responsibility, he's like, they're just all making this up. All these other crazy Christian Republicans that are okay with what I'm doing are just making all of this. And I found two people, well, Brett Meiselas and another guy who I actually didn't know before, who made clips about this. I want to show you. Oh wait, sorry, I gotta unmute.
It's under investigation. Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters is under investigation after two board members say they saw video of naked women playing on the TV in his office during an official meeting. You may remember Ryan. He's this guy, the MAGA guy who's banning books, forcing public schools to buy Trump Bibles, seriously, and screaming about porn in libraries over books with LGBTQ themes. That guy apparently had literal porn on in his own office, and, well, he was caught. One board member said she saw full frontal nudity during an executive session. Walters apparently stood up, acted shocked, said he couldn't figure out how to turn it off, and then never apologized. He just kind of sat back down like nothing happened. People in the room described him as a teenager who just got caught doing something bad, like that's what he looked like. This is the same guy who pushes Christian nationalism all across the state, censors teachers, and forces his political agenda into the classrooms. I gotta say, it's always the people you expect the most. Spread the word, follow along, and listen to the Midas.
It's always the ones protesting the loudest that are the creepiest. And someone said he should run for president. Yeah, this is what MAGA Christianity is about, is harboring creeps and pervs and just pretend and running cover for them. Yeah, no, Ryan J. Walters is probably going to get a promotion from this for sure. That's one of Trump's favorite thing. Have you been credibly accused of grape, of disgusting things like this around children? Great. Sign me up. I would love to defend you and put you in a position of power. I'm sure. Yeah. This is just the type of stuff MAGA loves. I mean, if they don't, they could prove me wrong, but at every turn, they discredit children and women who say that these men are hurting them. So, again, we're talking about Ryan J. If you just came, I was reading about Ryan J. Walters, the Oklahoma superintendent, the man that said he was going to root out teachers who might be gay and fine them. He was like setting up tip lines. He spent money buying Trump Bibles. Oklahoma, under his watch, has dropped from 48th in education to 50th. They are dead last now. Their science and math scores have plummeted. But don't worry, he wasted all their money on Trump Bibles. That's what we're talking about. But this is what MAGA wants. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. I think it'll be fine, right? Like, what could ever go wrong? Nothing to see here. I think we need to feel a little better. I was like questioning what order I want to go in with things. I think I want to show, I know we've all been feeling like very unsure about Gavin Newsom, and I'm like, hey, like he used to be someone I thought could be a leader, and then he started like fluffing Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk on that weird podcast. And then I've been showing clips for the last 2 weeks where I'm like, hey, I think the old Gavin is back. Like he's starting to make some sense again and call people out and use that incredible memory to shame people. Well, I want to talk about that's what I want to talk about. So I want to show this interview that I clipped of Gavin Newsom. The old Gavin's back. It's nice. It makes me feel good that he's finally going to stop the old nonsense.
We can, in essence, likely neuter the total number of districts that Trump is looking to get with Abbott and rigging those maps here in the state of California.
Right.
We can, in essence, likely neuter the total number of districts that Trump is looking to get with Abbott and rigging those maps here in the state of California. Hope other governors consider doing similar things. You've got to fight fire with fire. This is an existential moment. We have agency. We can act superior. We can act holier than thou and watch the last half century wiped out in real time. I think we need to be held to a higher level of accountability and meet this moment and lean in on this and get tough. We can, in essence, likely neuter.
Oh no, gets better than this. And like, just understand. Oh, actually, and before I show the rest of this interview, because this is just the beginning, Gavin Newsom went off. And he was, if you want to see more of this interview, this is an interview with Brian Tyler Cohen, and you can look it up on YouTube. But I want to just show a little bit more about that. What he's saying is, whatever Gavin is doing, right? And on Friday, I was showing those clips of Isaiah Martin being dragged out of the Texas legislature, and he was yelling shame about Abbott, because they have a supermajority. So they're going to just produce 5 more Republican seats and dilute minority districts even more, even though the only people who are adding to the population in Texas in any real way, any real statistical percentage, are minorities, are Hispanics and African Americans, mainly Hispanics, and they're going to dilute those districts even more to create more quote unquote Republican districts. Well, I want to show this video that Brian Baez made about that, where Jasmine Crockett was speaking at this same Texas legislature special session where Isaiah Martin was dragged out.
Old enough to remember that this legislature has consistently been found to be intentionally racially discriminatory in the drawing of its maps ever since the Voting Rights Act was enacted. To comply with the Voting Rights Act, we should have 60% of the seats that allow people of color to elect their representatives. That would be 24 seats. Instead, we currently only have 14.
Here's the story. Donald Trump is forcing Texas to redraw its district maps to make sure that Republicans can hold a majority in the House of Representatives. To understand redistricting and gerrymandering and how unfair it really is, take a look at Jasmine Crockett's district, District 30, as opposed to District 13, as opposed to District 23. They're all way different sizes, and the lines around them are arbitrary. There is no reason as to why the lines are drawn the way that they're drawn. This is what the map of Texas used to look like before it got redistricted in 2020, and this is the map of it after. The solid red areas mean they're solid Republican. Solid blue areas mean solid Democrat. As you can see, prior to 2020, you can see light pink areas next to blue areas. But after they redistricted, you can see these light pink areas completely disappear and become completely solid red. You can actually see District 23 get slightly bigger and more red. Donald Trump is forcing Governor Greg Abbott of Texas to redistrict these lines so that Republicans can gain 5 more seats in the House of Representatives. They are planning to redraw the Texas map in order to pick up 5 more seats to hold a majority in the House of Representatives, not just for a couple of years, but for decades to come. As a Texas Democrat in the House of Representatives, Jasmine Crockett is going and taking the fight within the state, but Democrats are also fighting outside of the state. California Governor Gavin Newsom said, if you want to fuck around, find out at your own motherfucking cost. Gavin Newsom said, fuck it. If y'all want to redistrict, then we're going to redistrict California. Democrats currently hold 43 out of California's 52 seats and reportedly believe they can pick up an additional 5 to 7 seats by drawing new maps. We would not only outdo the 5 Republicans that they would try to cheat to get in Texas, but we would outdo them by 2. But that's not all. Governor Kathy Hochul from New York is about to redraw New York's maps so that we can gain even more. He's looking into redrawing all 26 congressional districts that currently exist in New York. If that's not all, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said he wants to join in on the motherfucking fun. And he's saying he wants to redistrict Illinois as well. Why stop there? Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Rhode Island, and Washington all have Democratic trifectas, which means they control the governorship, their state House of Representatives, and their state Senate, which means they can also redistrict their maps as well. Texas, you want to fuck around? You can motherfucking find out.
Old enough to remember.
And that's why I'm playing these clips of Gavin Newsom and just listen because this is the old Gavin Newsom I knew, right? Like, that's the thing. When Gavin Newsom is back to the quarter, he will come out swinging. And I don't know, like, I feel like after the 2024 election, he started thinking, like, oh, I need to, like, I don't know, move to the center, be weird. I don't know. But it's like good to hear him become who he was before. Because I've never heard him like this. Again, if you want to look up any part of this interview I'm about to show that I clipped, it is Brian Tyler Cohen, who's a amazing litigator, lawyer who does content also with Glenn Kirshner, another former federal prosecutor. Like, if you don't follow Brian Tyler Cohen, oh, here, sorry, I can make this bigger. I think I can. There we go. That Brian Tyler Cohen. I think we all know him at this point, but if for some reason anyone doesn't, 10 of 10 suggest following. I can hear myself in my ears, so if you can't hear me, I would say leave the live and come back because that's what these ears are. I'm listening to myself talk.
We can, in essence, likely neuter the total number of districts that Trump is looking to get with Abbott and rigging those maps here in the state of California. Hope other governors consider doing similar things. You've got to fight fire with fire. This is an existential moment. We have agency. We can act superior. We can act holier than thou and watch the last half century wiped out in real time. I think we need to be held to a higher level of accountability and meet this moment and lean in on this and get tough. We can, in essence,
And that's the nicest thing he said during this. I am so glad he's back. Like, listen to this, because Gavin Newsom, when he's like locked in and focused on what matters, I promise you, like, this man could do it.
We're trying to play by one set of rules, and these folks on the other side have played by completely different set of rules. So much so that the President of the United States called Greg Abbott and told him, in essence, find 5 additional seats so he can rig the election next year and maintain the power and authority with the House of Representatives, which de facto amounts to no power, no authority, complete capitulation so Trump can continue to run roughshod over our rights and liberties. We're trying to play by one set of rules, and these folks on the other side have played.
Could not agree more. Like, I'm so glad. Now, this is there's so many good clips I'm going to play for you. This one is one of my favorite. It's like, God, where have you been, weirdo? Never again make me watch you fluff Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk. I can only forgive it once.
Exhausting. I'm sick of it, and I don't want to be on the receiving end of that anymore. I'm sick and tired of being on our heels. Got to be on our toes. It's not about fighting back. It's about leaning forward, and it's about setting the tone and tenor. I'm sick of this party needs to wake up. These guys aren't screwing around, and I say this not in literal sense, but they're assassins when it comes to the way they weaponize grievance and the way they play politics.
Yeah.
Enough. I mean, what more goddamn evidence do we need? Excuse my language. I mean, they've rolled back the last half century. In real time, that's just 6 months.
Right.
Can you imagine this guy having an additional 42 months with no system of checks and balances, no oversight? I mean, seriously, the hell else more evidence do you need? This is an existential moment. And so Democrats, if we want to have a party, if we want to be functioning, not just as a party, but as a democracy, if we want a system of checks and balances, we believe in the rule of law, if you believe in popular sovereignty, this is not about popular sovereignty. This guy wants to wire. He tried to break this democracy, tried to light it on fire on January 6th. He just made a call to the governor of Texas saying, in this case, not find me the votes, but find me new seats to rig the game. If we want to still be in this game, we need to disabuse ourselves, disenthrall ourselves of the status quo in the past. We have got to enter a new mindset, and we've got to get back on this playing field, and we've got to do it with the kind of vigor that our kids and grandkids deserve, that liberty and freedom deserves this moment. The founding fathers deserve the principles that define the best of Roman Republic and Greek democracy. That's on the line unless we stand the line and stand guard of this democracy, and that means we got to go on offense. No more defense. Go on offense. Fight fire with fire. So you ask me, Am I in? I'm all in. You ask me if I'm committed? I'm all in, committed, and resolved. And so this is not a bluff. This is a moment to be held to a higher level of accountability. Exhausting, I'm sick of it, and I don't want to.
And there's Gavin. Listen, and I'm only going to do this once before, like, this is not, please tie my shoes. I actually am a student of Marx. You are spreading misinformation and disinformation. First of all, you have a misunderstanding of Marxism and then what actual communism is, right? You don't like capitalism? Well, me either. I am a student of Marx. Then we regulate capitalistic markets, create equity and equality, right? That's that we move left. Like, you sound delusional. And actually, communism is not about, there's no police, right? It's about the exchanging of goods and services minus currency, minus borders. It's about cooperation. You have no idea what you're talking about. Period. Like, read actual Marx. You just sound like a crazy person who's like, hey, I'm just spamming a chat. Like, I'm just pretending everyone in here has no idea what they're talking about. I have a degree in history. I'm very passionate about Marx. He would be very disappointed in you. Like, so please don't invoke Marx when you have no idea what he talked about. I'm sorry. Yeah, you have to go on a time. I can't listen to this anymore. I'm sorry. Sorry, I have to mute this person because they're just gonna chat shit the whole time, as they say across the pond.
Lying to cover up his prior lies, and then lying again. Now he doesn't even know truth from fiction. And so, look, he's caught it red-handed. He's in the files. We know it. Period. Full stop. That's not even accurate. We know he's in the file. We know what this is all about. He told Pam Bondi, not to move forward. It's the idea that he has to fire her. He should step down himself if he fires her, because he directed her not to release these files. I always assumed that. Now we know that she briefed him. So he's lying. He's part of this cover-up, and he has confused even the most ardent observers here. I mean, you can't, the guy's a pretzel on this issue. Every hour he contradicts a statement.
We got the Olympics coming in California in 2028. He can join the gymnastics.
I'm not even sure. I think that there have to be an additional sports, because even gymnastics doesn't have enough flips and turns and everything. Look, it's a hell of a thing. And so this guy, you reap what you sow. He created this. He weaponized, he's done it from the birth certificate on down. He does this little thing with Q, the whole thing, too cute by half. He's lying to cover up.
God, it's just like, where the have you been? Oh yeah, you were. God, I'm not going to go back there. But truly, it's nice to see you're back, Gavin. Jesus Christ.
And more evidence every single day. He's lost a step. This is not the same Trump 1.0. This is something's off, increasingly off, and he's unmoored in ways even like Trump standards I haven't seen. I don't want to overstate this moment, but you can't understate this. Something ain't right, as they. And more.
Like, unmoored, that means untethered, untied to, no longer tied to reality, Mega. That's what unmoored means. You moor a ship, you tie it, to the dock. He's using words you guys can't understand, so I'm trying to help you understand what Gavin is saying.
What's your message to these folks in the right-wing media ecosystem who are figuring out where they want to go right now, whether it's just to follow Trump at all costs, no matter what he says, or to show some independence in light of these new updates?
Well, I mean, people come and go. Reputations can be destroyed in a moment. I mean, just your reputation is the only thing you've got. I mean, the coin of the realm is trust. You've built audiences. You have incredible influence. Trump is not going to be president forever, even if he gets a third term or tries to manipulate a third term. Fate in life. There's an expiration date for all of us. These folks want to continue to build their platforms, and they're losing a lot of people. And, you start to lose people on this. They don't trust you on not just Trump. They won't trust these guys. Continue to have these guys back. He'll turn his back on all of them. There's not one of them. I mean, he all but said that. He laid these guys out. His biggest supporters may have been the difference in the election. Yeah. And he turned on them. He has zero loyalty.
Right.
At least be loyal to your followers on your own. You built these unbelievable platforms, and people are following you. Have the decency, I think, to have the back of those that are following you. Trump doesn't care about the people following, but those that run these platforms, I hope they consider their audience.
What's your message to
Don't want to get off the subject, but I just love dogs. This is for you. You know, because like this is on the same topic, but because this is what Gavin Newsom is trying to say. Like something's wrong with Trump. Like he's no longer okay. People need to start noticing. He's turning on people. Oh wait, did I just? Sorry, I'm getting rid of the wrong things. Okay, there. Sorry, I thought my screen was frozen. Give me 1 second. I want to show you something along those lines. Love Dogs was saying, like, come off of congestive heart failure, which I always talk about how Lawrence O'Donnell is one of the preeminent journalists, like, in the United States, one of the most brilliant people I've ever heard speak in my life. And I was watching, hold on, I have to find it really quick before, oh, here it is. God, he's so amazing. I just think the way so because I would see so many people every live saying things like, come on, heart failure, or whatever that thing that was wrong with him when he had to go to church. Everyone's like, fingers crossed. I want you to see like the way Lawrence O'Donnell's brain works and the way he said this, like in the most apropos, beautiful prose I've ever heard someone speak in. This man is one of the best journalists. He's covered every president since Nixon, and he's one of my favorite living brains.
What if what he carries inside is not an illness, but the weight of a divine sentence? Donald Trump is sick, but his illness cannot be cured with medicine. It is called the echo of the injustice committed. Entire years of separating homes, scarring faces, locking innocent people in cages, deporting mothers with children in their arms, sending hunters after broken dreams. Now his body trembles. The debt is beginning to be collected, not by judges, but by invisible forces. The White House confirmed his hospitalization. He left the hospital irritated, his face uncovered behind a bandage that raised more doubts than reassurance. What is really happening? What truth are they hiding? A genetic coincidence or the whisper of a God who hears the cries of the oppressed? While some wish him a speedy recovery, others murmur. For every tear shed, a part of him fades. Tyrants do not fall to applause, but in silence. And in silence, God acts. Today, Trump no longer has the face of a leader. It is swollen, dull, absent. He's no longer in charge. He seems to be on trial. Cruel irony. He who wanted to expel so many may be the first to leave. No vote, no choice, only justice. And do you believe in coincidences or in a justice that arrives when you least expect it? What if what he carries...
Justice that arrives with, I mean, what the... He just said that like on a Thursday night on MSNBC. Just like, I was thinking about something, you guys. Lawrence O'Donnell is because we're all like, come on, Kangles, but like, come on, Lawrence O'Donnell. What is he, a poet? Like, what is happening? I heard that and I was like, oh my God, is that how you say it? If you have a good vocabulary. Sorry, I'm just finding my place. I'm going back to the. Okay, sorry. I'm just finding my place in the Gavin Newsom clips. Past that one. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, we did the message to right-wing influencers. This is where we are. Oh yeah. God, and now I have to show more clips about this. I'm so sorry about what I have to show you today. It's not going to make you feel good.
When you're meeting with her, with your former personal attorney, and you're literally socializing, which he does. This is what he does. He tests the wall theory, throws something out.
Starts to lay the groundwork.
Lays the groundwork. He's serious about it. For what? Why? When you're meeting with her.
So I want you to understand what Gavin Newsom was talking about. And this is so true. And the people that I talk about, I've never missed a Trump rally. I hang out on X. Well, so you don't have to, but just because to watch. And what Trump does when he starts saying, and he said it again today in Scotland, I'm not saying I'm going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. I could. I'm not saying I haven't even thought about it, but I could. That's him laying the groundwork. He's testing the waters of the MAGA base. Like, are they going to flip out on me and threaten to leave me? Or if I keep introducing this idea over and over, will they swallow the medicine down? And I cannot tell you the number of times I have personally witnessed him do this. This is what he does. He just floats this idea like, hey, I'm not saying I thought about it or would, but I could pardon her. Right? Is anyone mad about that? Do they care? They always swallow. Who said that? Scott Day. Scott Day says they always swallow. I did not say most of them do swallow. I think we could all attest to that. Yeah. Should we end the live there? That's the funny.
Sophisticated now than
Truly, and I swear to God, I was not leading towards that analogy, but truly, that is what he is doing. It's like he floats these ideas like, are they going to take their medicine or will they revolt against me? And this is the fourth time today with more force I heard him say like, yeah, I can pardon her. I can pardon her. He's going to. That is the deal. He does not want her to give him up. And he's going, I mean, and this is the last damning nail in MAGA's coffin. If they are okay with this, if they swallow this after all the things they've swallowed, because truly, I mean, being the largest transfer of wealth in a bill in U.S. history, I mean, literally, these people have given this man our financial future, our children's financial future, our children's financial future, our children's healthcare. Every single thing that mattered in this country, we have given to Trump so he can give the rich tax cuts. And we still, after giving him everything, have to borrow $3.3 trillion. So, I mean, MAGA can swallow a lot. I think we can all sit here and absolutely agree that it is absolutely shocking what MAGA absolutely will swallow. It is unbelievable amounts. But I mean, this is it. You decide. You're okay with Trump pardoning a child trafficker? Well, I mean, you guys can decide. I'm sure you'll figure out a way to justify it in your brains. That's what cognitive dissonance is. There's no end to your idiocy and delusion. Because that's what I'm saying. The real crime already happened. You were robbed, and you're all still here on the internet defending the home invader who robbed you and your children. And you're like, yeah, I'm here to swallow more of this man's lies. Like, you have already lost. You guys have already embarrassed yourself. You're on the wrong side of history. Every single thing you've done is publicly humiliating, and history will remember you badly. But, you know, do you give any shits about children? This is what you guys cared about. This is the only thing I had respect for MAGA about, was that they wouldn't let this go. This was it right here. But I always knew Trump was involved in it. You guys were too dumb to figure that out. I read court documents. I knew he was involved in this. But now that you know he's all up in the Epstein files, he's all involved in this and is engaged in an active cover-up, are you going to swallow this for him too? That they guzzle too. Stop. God, it's Monday. This is happening. Oh, here's another great Gavin. I'm telling you, Gavin Newsom's back.
I suppose you don't think it's especially presidential to go on some spree talking about changing the Washington commander's name, denaturalizing Rosie O'Donnell, getting cane sugar and Coca-Cola, relitigating Hillary's emails in the year 2025, and then, of course, arresting Barack Obama. And so, in light of his kind of dissembling that's happening on the public stage, what's your response to what we're seeing from the president?
It reminds me of a punch-drunk boxer. He's just wildly flailing. He's flailing. He's just zigging and zagging. He's desperate. He's trying anything, trying to chum the waters, and it's not working. And normally it works for him. It's not working right now. I mean, that's why he's off promoting his golf courses in Scotland. Get me the hell out of here. Problem is, wherever he goes, his reputation, this sort of degenerate nature of who he currently is follows him. And that's why I think this one is going to have not just some more explaining to do, he's going to have to do a lot more than he's done in the past to be able to dig his way out of this.
I suppose you...
Preach, Gavin, preach. I could not agree more. And that is so true. Normally Trump, AutoPen. Hey, you know what was signed with AutoPen? Every single J6 pardon. because I can read MAGA, so I know that Trump doesn't sign anything. I also know, and I shouldn't tell you guys this because your brains don't work. I should help you figure it out on your own. Nothing has to be signed by a president in actuality. No pardons. If Trump or Biden or Obama or anybody who's ever signed a pardon didn't sign it, doesn't matter. You'd have to understand the laws around pardons to get that. You don't have to sign presidential pardons. You guys are just idiots. You can't figure it out. You know the only thing you have to sign? Bills. According to the law, bills that are passed through Congress that show up on the president's desk, you have to sign those. Don't have to sign anything else. But you would have to be able to read to know that. But you guys can't figure that out. So, and then he's like, shit, even these idiots aren't believing my auto pen lies. Like, I got to come up with something else. Obamagate, read every piece, read all 160 pages. There's nothing in there. But you know what Trump did when he released the first 114 pages from Tulsi Gabbard? He negated his first string of lies that our elections weren't secure. Those 114 pages released a week ago from last Friday basically says our elections are safe and secure, voting machines are safe and secure, vote counts are safe and secure. Here's the checks and balances of state elections and how we know they're secure. So he was either lying to you the entire time when he was trying to do a coup and stay in office, or he's lying to you now. You guys could decide which one. But again, you'd have to be able to read. So you probably won't figure that out either. Like when I love how Gavin Newsom said that he's chumming the waters. Like he's throwing out any conspiracy. Auto pen. Oh, you guys don't believe that. Obama's wearing Biden's skin suit. Oh, you guys aren't picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, Obama wrote the Epstein files. Oh, you guys don't believe that? Okay, James Comey wrote the Epstein files. Okay, you guys don't believe that? Like I gotta figure out something because I'm all up in them. And now it's come out for sure. We know MAGA, so now we decide if you support people who cover up child sex trafficking. There's no doubt now. He covered it up. He was told in April he was all up in those files. He is still engaged today saying they're a hoax. Today, making up lies that aren't true. So you tell me. I mean, I already know. I have math to prove that conservatives don't care about children. I don't need you to tell me. But in your mind, I think you do. So let's just find out. Is it okay that Trump's covering up the Epstein files and lying about them? And he knew in April he was in them and continued to lie till now and has told a different lie every single day. Does it bother you? Or are you going to swallow it? Guzzle it down like you always do. Oh, this is Beto O'Rourke, who also was interviewed by Brian Tyler Cohen.
When I see that,
which, by the way, I think everyone knows who he is. He ran against Abbott for governor in Texas. I love him.
On TV in the midst of this exploding scandal, they look really uncomfortable. And the thing that Trump and Trump world have always tried to master is this confidence game of whatever lie they're peddling, whatever conspiracy theory they want us to follow them into. They always speak with confidence, and it's the tone of their voice, it's their body language, it's the assertiveness and certainty with which they pronounce every fucking word.
I'm going to say, I agree with him, but this is also how I know MAGA is so stupid. Because I totally agree with what Beto O'Rourke said, but because I can read, I know that everything the Republicans have said is a lie. So that, I mean, if people are always like, you're so mean, why do you say Republicans can't read? I know for sure they can't. Well, I'm not saying they can't read. They refuse to for whatever reason. I know. Because if you read primary sources, court documents, the congressional record, even though Republicans speak with confidence, and that's how I know when I debate, like if anyone caught it, I was debating on Saturday. And it's just man after white man who's like, my brain works. I know what I'm talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. Like, Literally 0 of 0 times do people who show up online to support Trump have any fucking idea what they're talking about. And they're just like I saw on Fox News, if I'm just confident, like, no one's going to know I'm an idiot. No, I can smell your insecurity and idiocy because I can read. And if you could read, and if you used your ability to read to look into anything conservatives are telling you, then you would know it is 100% all a lie. It is a lie. So I don't even have to wonder if you're an idiot. Just by nature of you saying, I'm here to defend Trump, I already know.
Every sentence. They don't look like that anymore. There's something completely changed in their body language, in the tone and tenor of their speech. This con that they have been running for so long, that they have been perpetuating, thinking that it would never, ever come back and get them, has finally begun to bite them on the ass. And they just don't know what to do with it, especially as drip by drip, we learn that Trump is more and more implicated with Epstein. And you're right, it's this perverse irony that these are the very people who inflated this conspiracy scandal to begin with, used it in part to purchase the power that they now wield over this country. And wouldn't it be some pretty fitting cosmic poetic justice for that very same con to spell the end of their term? When I see them on TV,
Amen. Amen. But here's the thing. I just want to say this. Even if a huge group of idiot white men continue to just get together and be like, women don't know what they're talking about. I'm smart. I know what I'm saying. You still are idiots. And people who can read know that you are idiots. So I just want you to know that history is written by people who are not stupid. So if you think you are on the right side of history, this is your chance to recognize you have no idea what you're talking about. You're just desperate, flailing around, thinking misogyny and masculinity is a cool thing, but really you reek of insecurity. Mathematically, you're wrong. Factually, you're wrong. And all I'm sure of is that none of you can read and none of you can do math. And the thing is, you don't have to do any of that. There's a supercomputer in your pocket that could do it all for you. Truly, there's no excuse for being as dumb as MAGA is. There's zero excuse. And you're just like, I'm dumb and I'm here to yell I'm dumb. It doesn't matter what words you say when you show up on TikTok to take a position. You're an idiot. Period. Just by nature of showing up in defense of a pathological liar who also can't do math or read, you're an idiot.
We should expect them to do criminal things. This is somebody who was a con man and a convict. And so, unfortunately, we have seen him misuse, things such as pardons, where it looks like there's a bit of pay for play. And so I absolutely fully anticipate that he may most likely offer her a get out of jail free card if she just fails to disclose certain things, or if she decides to say certain other things, right? But I do think that, considering the fact that she probably is the only person who was really intimately engaged with all levels of or the vast majority of criminality with Epstein, she is the person that can discredit or credit any information. We should expect them to do criminal.
I hate when I cut off the end of clips, but I'm like walking around on the streets. It's hard. Can't stand when like the last word is cut off because I'm a perfectionist. I cannot stand it. I'm sorry. I forgot. Steph said Lawrence O'Donnell gives hot grandpa vibes. Is he grandpa? I know. And it's like, first of all, I just want to say before I say these things, I've not had sex with anyone in like 5 years. I'm going to therapy to work on myself, so I don't want to appear like I have an authority on any of this. But yeah, like, why, Lawrence? I always say this, I'm a sapiosexual, so Lawrence O'Donnell, the way he
computers.
packages information. The way that that man rips Donald Trump to shreds. I don't remember. Like, I've played it. One of my favorite Lawrence O'Donnell clips is when he talks about how he went to college with RFK Jr. Does anyone remember this? And he's like, this guy was passed out on H every day. Class. Like, I cannot. Like, that man is one of the most brilliant journalists of all time. Yeah, I love Lawrence O'Donnell. But, like, I think because of my trauma, like child trauma and all sorts of things, like when I was younger, I would conflate like being very impressed by people and like loving their braids with like being sexually attracted to them. So I'm trying to like work through, is that normal and healthy that I'm just like, this person's smart, so I would F them. I'm working on that with my therapist. I don't know, but like I do find intelligent people, like I don't care what you look like. If your brain's brilliant, I like you. But I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, is that healthy or is something Tracy, I love this chat. Yeah, to everyone in this chat, we're all like totally normal. Everyone in this chat, we are all judging people on their ability to follow a line of logic. That's step one. And then, like, we notice what they look like. It's like we were just, like, listening to someone's ability to follow a line of logic. And then after that, we're like, okay, what does this person look like? Yeah, I told everyone in this chat is fine with that. But I'm like, is that a normal way to operate? To just be like, I also think, like, in this era of misinformation and disinformation, we're getting, like, weirdly attracted to the truth. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like Gavin Newsom, just think about how annoyed, like when Gavin Newsom did that live or whatever that was Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk. I was like, I have the ick in a way I've never had the ick for another human. Like I was like, if I want to go find Gavin Newsom and throw up on his shoes, like. And now I'm like, okay, like you're processing information, what I know of you, and, you know, and what I used to love about you, your eidetic memory and your ability to dismantle people by following logic and reason. Oh, you're back to that? Okay, well, now I can stand to look at you again. Like, it's all about what people are talking about for me. Someone said they love Jasmine Crockett. I've told this story before. I met her, and when you hear Jasmine Crockett talk, all of the reasons you like her, it's even better in person. That's all I'm going to say. If you're like, I think I love Jasmine Crockett, I promise you, you do. And she's not even that tall, and she just moves through a room, and people, it's like Moses parting the Red Sea. Like, definitely a sapio. Everyone in this chat is a sapiosexual. People are like, I don't know what that is. You need to look it up. If you want to hang out in this chat, you probably are one. It's just people who are attracted to other people's brains, people's ability to like think and reason through things, especially like the more we get into the age of misinformation and disinformation, I think the more important and the more attractive people become who could like, you know, like break through the noise. Because I think about it all the time. Why are MAGA men so disgusting looking? Are they disgusting looking? Or if something else that wasn't idiocy was coming out of their mouth, would they be less ugly? Has anyone ever thought about this? Like, would they be less ugly if they weren't so dumb? And I'm just thinking out loud here. Possibly, but they're so dumb that you're just like physically in pain when you see them, you know? It's like, ugh, nope, no. I mean, but I'm just, well, then they'd have to move to the left, and then would they be more attractive because they weren't bigots and losers, you know, that reeked of insecurity? I don't know. I've been thinking about these things lately. And I wanted to say this, like, if you didn't get a chance to see on Saturday, I was debating with Justin at Covfefe 2024. I love him. He's the nicest guy from Minnesota. He's the best. I think we'll do it some more in the future. But here's the thing. Like, the first two men that came up said, yeah, you know what? I had to vote for Trump because Kamala, you know, she's just an idiot. She couldn't get, you know, she just couldn't get my vote because, like, every time I would hear her speak, she wasn't making sense. What do you say to idiots that believes like that is their reality, that Kamala Harris, the most qualified candidate for, or pound for pound, like of the most qualified candidates, is there right with them, does not make sense. One of the most successful trial lawyers, like, what? She doesn't make sense. But Donald Trump, the guy drooling and who says men shouldn't wear makeup but paints himself orange every day, says he's he's 6'4", 180 pounds, and is dragging one of his legs up the stairs, like, is a pathological liar. Nobody has lied at the same rate as Donald Trump, and you will back him over a woman. Like, this is the reality. And also, as long as I'm on this line of logic, I want to finish with this. I have noticed a lot of women online telling other women to be quiet. Where has being quiet gotten any women? Why? If you are a woman telling another woman to be quiet, something is wrong with you. We have gotten nowhere. 2% body fat. Thank you, Nurse Uber. If you are a leftist woman telling women to be quiet, something is wrong with you. And I mean that just deeply in my soul. What the is wrong with you? Stop telling women to be quiet. I watch lives, like the other day I was just scrolling on my phone through lives. Every live is men talking. There's one woman who's on the panel. You know, they let a woman up, but she is never speaking. Never. It's just, she's there just to sit there, like her little box is there, you know, but she's never speaking ever. And then I have to listen to leftist women saying, be quiet. No, women should be quiet. Listening to insecure men has got us where we are. Like, look around you. Is this working? No. Don't be quiet. Talk more. Every time a man talks, just start talking over him. Just normalize it. Not all men. The men in this chat, their brains are working fine. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's fascinating what women are like, be quiet. Yeah, that's what we need. That's why we don't have bodily autonomy, because we've got women telling women to be quiet. Anyway, sorry. I think this Trump's second presidency is bringing a lot out of me. My therapist says it's healthy, but it's kind of scaring me. Okay, so do you guys remember on Friday when I was playing the video of Isaiah Martin, who was like dragged out of that Texas legislator meeting? Well, and when he was, I can't remember the misdemeanors he was charged with or whatever. Well, he went back to the same Texas legislature meeting, and he posted this. So I wanted to play it because, like, love him. He debates on TikTok, and I think we should support him. So this is after he was dragged out. I think he was charged with like a misdemeanor or something, and then came back and said this.
You Republicans tried so hard to silence me. You had to throw me in jail. And I wanted to come here to look every single one of you in the eye and let you know personally that you failed. You tried and you failed. Just like you will try and fail when it comes to this gerrymandering scheme that you're about to pull off. But as a result of what you have done, millions more are now talking about this sham that you guys have perpetuated. More states have come forward saying that they are going to gerrymander Republicans out of their seats. That is the cost of what you have done, because the people will rise up whether you like it or not.
Shoulder shake at the end. I cannot. Like, I could watch that video every single day. We need to support this man with our lives. He's running in the 18th district in Texas, in Houston, in H-Town. So let's support him in any way we can figure out how to support him, because, sorry, I didn't mean to make you look at how my presentations look, but he's amazing. And I say this, like, anyone who's willing to speak truth to power in Texas, like, that is what we need. We need to support it. And, oh my God, I have so many crazy things to show you guys. I don't want to go too far back. Sorry, I'm just finding the Epstein stuff. I was up super early watching Trump humiliate us all in in Scotland, which, God, it's embarrassing. But I want to show you something from Chris Murphy. It's not him speaking. He made a really good thread that I think is important because Trump, well, we'll get the reason I'm showing you this for a reason, because Trump finally admitted it in Scotland today that he doesn't have any, the 90 deals in 90 days, there's none. And he's like, did you know there's 200 countries? Like, I can't make deals with all of them, except for he said that he did. He said that in April and that he was going to be releasing them soon. So I just thought when Trump is talking about the US-Japan deal, there's no deal. I just want to be clear. And that is, Japan's the largest holder of our bonds, the 10-year treasury yield, the 30-year treasury yield. It is effing us up what Trump is doing with Japan. And I just want to be clear. The more we learn about the US-Japan trade deal, the more we learn there is no deal. Trump rushed out an announcement because he was trying to distract from Epstein. A tiny diny. Thank you. Tiny dinies are... I love tiny dinies. He's trying to distract from Epstein. That's why he flew to Europe and is like, look, this weird European trade deal where no one signed any papers again. Like, it's so, we're sitting next to each other talking about something, but no one has signed any papers. Like, same with the Japan deal. Japan's like, there's no deal. Like, this is insane. He rushed out an announcement. There's no text and widening disagreement on terms. The most significant claim Trump made in the announcement was a 550 billion Japanese investment fund in the US. Yeah. This is the same as the 8 trillion he says he's getting from the Middle East. And when you follow the math, that's not real. None of it's real. And the only parts of it that are real, thanks, Joe Biden. Trump called it a signing bonus. Yeah. The press reported it straight, even though it sounded absurd. 550 billion is 13% of Japan's entire gross domestic product. Who believes Japan is investing 13? Yeah, of course it's a lie. Trump just yells a number that people are like, it must be true. Unsurprisingly, Japan immediately confirmed there was no 90-10 deal and no former deal at all. Thank you so much for that. There's no deal at all. Japan has confirmed there was no deal. There was no signed piece of paper. They have agreed to nothing, and they certainly aren't investing 13% of their gross domestic product in a dying economy that is devaluing their own currency to export more. Further, Trump's 70-minute negotiation was with a desperate, lame duck Japanese government that just lost control of the parliament. It's not even clear Prime Minister Ishiba will be around to write the text of the agreement that clearly doesn't exist. It could be the parts of the deal Trump announced eventually become formalized, but his big win for the U.S., a $550 billion Japanese signing bonus to America, looks like fiction. Of course it is, because if you understand the size of a gross domestic product, of course it's fiction. Oh, is David here? Trump and a... David, do you want to talk about it? Do you want to request? I'll let you up if you want to tell me how you feel today, because I'm confused. Yeah, it's Monday. On last Thursday and Friday, you were saying Trump should be gone and JD Vance should be in control. So if you want to explain to me how things have changed, I'm willing to listen. I'm serious. Dale, this is your chance. Request if you want to explain to me how you feel, because I thought you said last week over and over all week long, JD Vance needs to take over. Okay, so you don't want to request. Dale, I never want to talk to you. I'm telling you, I'll let you up here if you want to say something. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, Dale's getting blocked forever. Or until the next time I block him, but last time it was 6 months.
Is more sophisticated now.
Okay, sorry, I thought I blocked another random I have fat fingers. I always block I thought I accidentally blocked a random I think I blocked Dale. He's gone. Not for the day, forever. Yes, I have Trump derangement syndrome. People who can do math and primary source research, we're crazy. It's us. This is the guy, I just want to take you on a journey through Dale. He said if Trump was ever convicted of a felony, he would never vote for him. Then he said it was all made up. He said if Trump ever turned out to be in the Epstein files, he would never support a child trafficker. Then it turns out today, apparently, he's absolutely fine with child trafficking. As we're learning out from all MAGA, which as someone who was essayed as a child, that is that's the breaking point. I will never let you near me again, you stupid creep. Sorry. Yeah, MAGA, you guys are disgusting human beings. Your new line is, it's okay to be a child trafficker? Everyone else is mistaken. Yeah, that's what's happening. Sorry, I'm just getting to my part of the Epstein files because I could go over other things, but oh wait, I do have to show one Jordan Klepper clip. I love Jordan Klepper. He's hilarious, but he also does great reporting. Do you know that guy I can't stand on CNN? His name's Scott Jennings. He's argues with Abby Phillip at night and the round table of people. Jordan Klepper did some research on Scott Jennings, and I think we should all see this.
Because he soon joined CNN, where he made a name for himself as a rare conservative voice who would openly attack Donald Trump.
He's clearly violated his oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. This is outrageous. It's beyond the pale. Every Republican ought to be able to say so. We need a new nominee. If we nominate him again, we will lose. It sounds like an unhinged, deranged person has gotten loose and is out on the street and may be a danger to themselves and others.
Exactly. Scott Jennings is a principled man who knows Donald Trump is a danger to the party. He's not going to backtrack. You're certainly not going to see Donald Trump suddenly praising him for his total compliance, say, 2 years later.
You know, we have a man here that I don't know, but he's defending me all the time on CNN. And he defends me really well. Scott Jennings. Where's Scott?
Michigan. We were flying in here today. And I said, look at these farms. I got to get a farm in Michigan because when you own as many libs as I do, you got to put a place to put them all.
And the person sitting next to him on the plane said, okay, I'm going to put my headphones in now and just listen to a podcast. Cool. So, how did Jennings metamorphosize from principled caterpillar to craven butterfly? Well, after a few years on CNN, Scott Jennings realized that bucking the establishment was hard. And shouting MAGA talking points was easy and fun.
Democrats care more about dudes who want to become women than dudes who just want to be Democrats. They are for things. Illegal aliens. You're for boys and girls sports. Woke mob. There's thousands of Hitlers running around this country right now, running around college campuses, running around New York City. Those are the Hitlers I'm worried about.
Okay. In fairness, the Times Square's Hitlers are just Venezuelan guys in Hitler outfits. When it comes to spotting Nazis, Jennings has proven he has a keen eye. Watch him hear Hitler-splain to his colleagues after Elon Musk gave a Sieg Heil salute in public.
What do you come on?
You are way off the rails.
I think it's kind of I'm off the rails. Yes. You're the one who defended Sieg heiling as a normal activity.
This salute trutherism is outrageous. This is the most.
Do it right now on TV.
This is the biggest conspiracy.
Do it right now on TV. If you think it's normal, if you think this is a normal way to greet people, do it right now on TV. Why won't you?
I want to redirect us here.
Oh, my favorite game: Truth or Dare.
Played most of those clips he just played, but I just think it's funny. Scott Jennings is a fraud. Everyone who supports Trump now, at some point you can find a clip of them actually saying the truth. These are all pathological liars who have sold out and swallow for Trump. How many lies will you swallow for Trump? Sorry, and I'm sorry. I tried to request what's his name, Randy McPeters, to come up, who was saying, I don't know what he was saying, something about Trump, but he wouldn't accept my request. It was the weirdest thing. Trump supporters are so brave in comments, and then if you just ask them to explain their position, they will never show their face. It's the weirdest thing. If there are any Trump supporters who want to explain to me how anything you believe is factually or mathematically correct, I am open to hearing it. Literally anyone. Literally. Any person who wants to explain to me how anything you believe about Trump being good for this country is mathematically or factually correct, I am into hearing it. Anything. Any obscure thing. This is... Oh yeah, this is just I was enjoying the protests in Scotland. By the way, you remember how we are rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse? $10 million for Trump to golf at his stupid ass golf course. $10 million. Just keep on, MAGA. This is another example of how you can't do math. The executive branch is spending billions and billions of dollars more than Joe Biden ever spent. Period. There's no waste. The federal government has grown in size. We are spending more. The deficit has been blown out. We have to borrow $3.3 trillion. Can any of you do math? Waiting for the requests to fill up. Waiting for the requests to fill up, MAGAs. One of you has to be able to do some where are we getting this money? Oh, we're borrowing it from banks. So immediately, if you're carrying any loans and your interest rates go up, look into the 10-year treasury yield, the 30-year treasury yield. Look into the devaluation of the US dollar. If you don't understand that nothing good has been done by Donald Trump. Oh, wait, I forgot about something too. When I was debating on Saturday, sorry, I almost forgot to embarrass someone. You know, I just like to, when people, I think he was pretty embarrassed, but when people try to tell me things, then, and I know, I think I proved them wrong in the moment, but I just want people to understand how bad Trump has been for the stock market. Because I think MAGA is completely delusional and can't add. So I did a statistical analysis yesterday of the S&P 500 performance under Trump's second term. So since Trump's been in office versus 2022 to 2024 of Biden's term. This analysis examines the S&P 500's performance since Donald Trump's November 2024 election victory compared to market trends from October 2022 through December 2024. Key negative developments since Trump's election. Erosion of initial Trump bump gains, right? Trump was elected, the market got the S&P 500, which is my favorite market, got a 2.53% bump on November 6, 2024. It reached a peak of 6,144.15 and February 19th, 2025, a 6.25% post-election gain. However, by March 2025, the index had lost all post-election gains, closing at 5,778.15 below its election day. Tariff-induced market volatility, which I think MAGA doesn't understand that Trump's purposely, when you hear the words taco, it's not that Trump is dumb, it's that he's stealing from you. He's a grifter who's driving the markets up and down. So people with capital can take huge positions and benefit from them. March 2025 saw the S&P drop 0.76% in a single day. The index nearly entered correction territory, down 10% from peak multiple times. Industrial and energy sectors were particularly hit hard. Yeah, wait. I don't want to read all this because it's going to bore you. I'm fascinated by it. But I want to read to you what Biden did. From October 2022 to December 2024. This is Joe Biden. Steady growth trajectory. That's how you build businesses and make investments. Rose from 3,585 to 5,881 in December 2024. Monthly returns to averaged 1.59%, which is amazing and consistent over 2 years. Technology sector led gains. I just want to read this comparison too, because this is the interesting part. So, like I said, Total return plus 64% for October 2022 to December 2024. Average monthly return plus 1.59. Max drawdown was September 2022 when things were tough. Negative 9.34%. Volatility 0.59%. So since Trump has been in August, total return. So again, the total return for Biden, 64%. Total return for Trump, negative 1.8%. Variable average monthly return from 6% to negative 5.75. Volatility due to him manipulating the markets. Max drawdown, negative 9.5. So Biden's was 9.34. His is 9.5. So Trump's is worse. Volatility, they don't even have, I can't figure out Trump's. They can tell because the consistency of the S&P 500 under Biden, like it was very consistent. It's 0.59%. They can't track the volatility of Trump because it was so volatile. Period. If you believe Trump is good for any business in this country, then you don't understand how finance works. You don't understand how the economy works. Period. Energy is not doing well. Oh, I'm so glad. I want to show you a Mr. Global video about energy because I just want to say this is another, like, I already went through this report with everyone, but I like to get a white guy to just say the same thing so that I can be like, remember when I said this? And now I have a white guy who's going to tell you the same exact story. Remember when I tried to explain to MAGA over and over that, oh wait, hold on. That volatility in the LNG markets, the reason Biden paused, he didn't pause all LNG exports, but new LNG exports was because we were doing a statistical analysis because we realized that something terrible was going to happen to energy prices in the U.S. That U.S. citizens in the South, their electricity and energy prices were going to skyrocket as we exported more liquid natural gas. And that's why Biden paused it, because the brilliant people, Jennifer Granholm, who is the Secretary of Energy, was like, people aren't going to be able to pay their energy bills. We need to do something about this. Like, we need to figure out the impact. Impact study is a statistical analysis study of if we keep exporting liquid natural gas, what happens to the domestic energy prices in the South, right? And I was like, and everyone, MAGA was like, Joe Biden doesn't want to export energy. He doesn't want to be energy independent. We were energy independent the entire time Joe Biden was in office. You guys just can't count and or read. None of that was ever true. But here's a real energy, oil and gas expert to explain to you that everything I told you guys was in fact correct.
The European Union is going to agree to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy.
Can I show you something? When Donald Trump says $750 billion worth of energy, what he's talking about is LNG. You see this? This, LNG exports. This, price of electricity. LNG exports, price of electricity. Donald Trump wants to triple this. When Donald Trump triples this, what do you think is going to happen to this? Do you think this is just going to stop going up? I've been telling you guys for a really long time what's coming with electricity bills. Much to the dismay of a lot of people who call me a fearmonger and all kinds of stuff. When I say your electric bill will one day, in the near future, be more than your rent or your mortgage, I'm saying it because it's true. You are going to be subsidizing the companies that send all of our natural resources to Europe. Most of you have already seen this showing up on your electric bills. What you need to understand is it's going to get unbelievably worse. You're just seeing the beginning. Because if this wasn't bad enough, now we're going to try to do everything we can to destroy renewable energy at a time when energy demand is growing faster than it's ever grown in the United States in history. This president is completely incompetent when it comes to energy and understanding how it works and how it impacts Americans. If you think high gas prices cause inflation, what do you think is going to happen to the farmer who spends more money on electricity than you could dream of? What do you think is going to happen at Walmart, who spends about $1 billion a year on electricity just in the United States? What do you think is going to happen when that turns into $2 billion a year? This isn't just your electric bill. This is everything. Thanks.
The European Union.
Now, MAGA, white guy said it. A smart white guy said it. Did you hear it this time? I've said this 10 times since December, but a white man just said it. So maybe you heard it this time. I don't know. I know that you guys it's easier for you to hear white males talking. So I thought maybe the reason that Biden didn't pause all LNG exports, we were still exporting more liquid natural gas than any other country in the world, but paused new ones, was because Jennifer Granholm, the former Secretary of Energy, realized, shit, if we keep exporting at this rate, electric prices, energy prices are going to raise for everyone in this effing country exponentially, almost at the same up and to the right graph. That's what he was showing you. That's what they were trying to say. Well, you're like, Biden doesn't want to be energy independent because that's what I heard on Fox News. There couldn't possibly be a mathematical explanation for anything else because Fox News said Donald Trump said windmills are bad and wind is expensive. Wind is mother effing free, MAGA. Trump sat in Scotland today, and I have the clips. I just don't know if I have the literal patience to listen to that dumbass speak again. Wind is the most expensive energy. To who? What? No, it's not. Let me help you. And bless Keir Starmer's heart, trying to just head that idiot off at the pass and be like, hey, that's not how energy works, dumbass. And I've tried to explain this to MAGA because MAGA's braids don't work. There's not one answer, right? Donald Trump is a malignant narcissist, and what happens with them is it's called black and white thinking. They believe that there is one answer to every problem, when in reality, there's often many answers to a problem. The answer to cheap energy and moving to clean energy is a complex, nuanced answer. It's not one thing. Like, I've lived all over the U.S., right? In Arizona, it's called the Valley of the Sun. You can't, any direction you look, we're surrounded by mountains. We're like cradled in giant mountains. So there's no wind getting through. But when I lived in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for a year, I was like, what the is going on here? Like that, I never experienced the northern jet stream. I did not understand that there is not even a hill that is 5 feet tall stopping the northern jet stream from blowing through the Midwest. And they are collecting energy through wind turbines like nobody's business, right? But in Arizona, solar is making our energy cheap, right? It depends on wherever you are around the world. Different energy is cheaper. We need many different energy strategies. When Donald Trump says we're going back to coal, that is the sign that Donald Trump is an idiot. We can't go back to coal. That's stupid, right? We need a comprehensive, we need wind, we need electric, we need solar, we need oil and gas, we need liquid natural gas, we need all of it, right? Where it's convenient in different places and cheap, depending on where we're pulling things out of the ground, where the pipelines are, wherever the energy is cheap, that's what we need available to people. Like if we're using dams and hydroelectric power to move water and generate energy, great. Let's do that. There is not one answer. And eventually, hopefully, we all move to nuclear, because that's the real answer to all of this. There is not one answer. And if you are stupid, that's how I know MAGA's dumb. They listen to Donald Trump. They're like, yeah, clean coal. Let's get those children back in their minds. Let's just, what's wrong? What are those windmills up to? They're always trying to kill those whales. You guys are idiots. Truly, you guys are idiots. And when every price rises domestically, just like they are with tariffs, and now on top of that, your electric bill, and then, thank you, Stella. Thank you but if we use too much wind energy, we'll run out of air. Don't tell, MAGA may truly believe that. We don't know. I mean, we can't help these people make sense of anything because their brains do not work. And then every day on the internet, people are like, you should debate more. Why? Why should I talk to idiots and listen to them say nothing? It's charity. That's my community service. Like, the next time I get arrested, if it ever happens again, they're like, you need to do community service. I'll be like, can I just talk to idiots online and try to help them understand, like, how things work? I don't think any of us should be talking to MAGA anymore. Like, there's no point. These people are truly idiots. And they're like, makes perfect sense to me. I had a guy come to a live on Saturday and say, you don't know what inflation is. And I was like, what is inflation? He's like, printing money. Jesus Christ. Like, can we just all give up? Can we give up? MAGA's brains don't work. And they're just so fucking confident. It's like, yes, River, the solar panels may be communicating with the aliens. Maybe that's what's wrong. I don't know, but there's no hope for these people. Their brains don't work. And if you want to look up anything about how your energy bills are going to rise, this is a report on the report that Biden did. This was why he paused new LNG exports, and Jennifer Granholm did this impact study, statistical analysis of what would happen to domestic, that's inside the U.S., MAGA, energy prices if we continued pumping liquid natural gas to places like Europe. And what we found was none of us will be able to pay our electric bills. So if you want to screenshot this, look it up, or I think I took a screenshot of the actual, this is the report. Office of Fossil Energy and Carbon Management, U.S. Department of Energy. It's 58 pages, MAGA. This could be the longest book you ever read. This is your chance. Screenshot this and look it up, MAGA. You could finally read something. This is the report. When you guys all believe Trump, when he's like, Biden's shutting down energy exports, when we never weren't energy independent and we were just trying to save the price of your electric bill, this is the report. You probably can't read it and won't understand the graphs. But if you want to, this is it. Here it is. I have it in a PDF file. You can do it. You could do it, MAGA. This could be the thing you read. Your first book. I mean, they won't. They're not going to read anything. Now we have to move on to Epstein and you guys covering up for child sex traffickers. But I just thought I'd tell you, when your electric bills go up, please blame no one but your own inability to do math and or read.
At a press conference today, Donald Trump finally condemned Jeffrey Epstein. Let's listen to what he condemned him for.
For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth.
The thing that Donald Trump thinks is inappropriate that Jeffrey Epstein did is that he stole the help. He uses the phrase the help. Jeffrey Epstein hired people away from Mar-a-Lago. And that is the thing that Donald Trump thinks is inappropriate. Not, the child sex trafficking ring. Not the fact that he had 14-year-old girls running through his home in Palm Beach while Donald Trump and
We're younger than 14.
and we're going to girl parties together. Not the fact that he molested and ruined the lives of so many young women, including a young woman that worked at Mar-a-Lago, actually. how depraved you have to be, how broken is your brain, where you talk about the thing that Jeffrey Epstein, the most famous child sex trafficker in the country, when you talk about the thing that he did that was inappropriate, what comes to mind is that he stole the help. He hired the help away from Donald Trump, the help. Like, this is the man of the people? This is the man that was going to, as QAnon thought, break up the child sex trafficking ring? This is a guy that is fighting for the forgotten man? And meanwhile, he's just pissed that the people that work for him, the help, left to go work for a different guy, and that is what upset him. Truly mind-bogglingly heinous stuff from the President of the United States today. At a press conference today, Donald Trump.
Let me be clear on that, because MAGA, what you need to get is not everybody in the MAGA, I like to call it a cottage industry, is dumb, right? You are dumb. You can't read. You can't do math. You're in cognitive dissonance. You can't find your way out of a paper bag. But Trump can, right? JD Vance can. These people know they're lying to you. So if it did matter to you that someone would cover up a child sex trafficking ring, you now know with 125% certainty that it's them. The call is coming from inside the mother effing house. So here's your moment. This is the fork in the road, the proverbial, that word is too big for you. I'm sorry. This is the fork in the road. Do you protect the kids, or are you like, them liberals are up to something? We're not up to anything. We have zero power in the U.S. government. Zero. We are in control of nothing. Factually, mathematically, we have no power. This cover-up is brought to you specifically and entirely by Donald Trump and the Conservative Party. Period. There's nobody else to blame. Like, we can flail around and yell and scream. This cover-up is brought to you by Donald Trump and the Conservatives. That's it. They have control of every branch of government. Don't look around for a conspiracy. Wait, is Obama wearing Trump's skin suit? Just like he was wearing Biden's skin suit. Maybe Obama moved skin suits, and that's not your beloved Donald Trump. It's Obama in Trump's skin. And for people who think that sounds crazy, there's a large cross-section of MAGA that believe wholeheartedly that Joe Biden was Obama in Biden's skin. And if you think that sounds crazy, then you haven't been on the internet long enough and understand that 100% they believe that shit. I don't even hear this. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I have a Brian Epstein clip to explain that. So I just want to be clear. What you just saw from the Bulwark, that was today. This is also today. Those clips I just went by, that's what it is. Like, reporters in the UK are allowed, and in the EU are allowed to ask real questions. And they're like, hey, are you over here trying to pretend like you have a trade deal with the EU to cover up the Epstein? That's what they kept asking Trump, and he got more and more mad. And Brian Baez made a video about this. I just can't listen to Trump anymore. I heard he had to clip it. It's so bad.
After this clip, nobody can convince me that American media is better than European media. Donald Trump is in Turnberry, Scotland, and he went over there using our taxpayer dollars to visit his own golf course.
I just have to say it. There's no Turnberry, Scotland. Turnberry is the name of the golf course. He's in Aberdeenshire, right? Aberdeen, Scotland, where Trump's golf course is, which is called Turnberry. Sorry, for the people of Scotland, I'm just going to say the truth.
Way, it's costing us $10 million, but whatever. He was also also there to meet with the European Union president to fast track a tariff trade deal. And the European media didn't really give a fuck. They asked him to his face in front of the cameras, is the reason why you fast track this trade deal so that it can distract from the Epstein files, getting him mad as fuck.
Mr. President, was part of the rush to get this deal done to knock the Jeffrey Epstein story out?
Oh, you got to be kidding with that. No, had nothing to do with it. Only you would think that. That had nothing to do with it.
Now, while this was a great moment, I don't want us to lose sight of why this is even deeper than just a gotcha question that got this motherfucker mad. Because right now, whether or not we talk about it, we are in a censorship crisis. Stephen Colbert's late night show on CBS was just canceled. Mind you, it was the #1 rated show on all late night. But because Stephen was critical of Donald Trump, they decided to fire him in order for Paramount to do a big merger deal that was a multi-billion-dollar deal. After Paramount did that multi-billion-dollar merger deal, Donald Trump made sure that if it was going to happen, it only could happen if they assigned a bias monitor. The bias monitor is literally a person who's watching all of Paramount's programming, and if anybody is ever critical of Donald Trump, they're also going to get fired. That's a bias monitor. We are in a fucking censorship crisis. Trump also cut NPR and PBS funding, so no more Sesame Street for your kids, because he called them the enemy of the people, and he's also always called them fake news. Also, in the White House press briefing room, Donald Trump turned the press pool into a MAGA echo chamber, taking out people like the Huffington Post and Reuters, who are more credible news sources, to put in Newsmax and The Blaze, which are alt-right conservative MAGA Republican outlets. MAGA hates cancel culture, but they love cancel culture. And to be honest with you, in moments like this is the reality check that I think we all need. We take shit for granted. Our media would never ask this shit anymore. We are losing our own fucking way.
Oh yeah, and it's much worse than that. Like, I never get into this, but I'm just gonna, I don't know if people already understand this. I used to try to tell people, and then I realize, like, people in America have no idea what I'm talking about. If you believe there's a free press in America, you're clueless, right? Like, if I look at an article on Yahoo here, and an article, and then I turn on a VPN, which is based in, say, Paris, France. So my computer is telling the internet I'm in Paris, France. That same article will have different information because the information in America is being censored. And that's why I keep like 5 different VPNs and no one ever knows where I am in the world, because no matter wherever you're claiming you are, articles will say different things. Like, that's the reality. If you believe that in America, yeah, that's the purpose of having a VPN. Oh, they're really cheap. Get one. Try it out. Like, yeah, I mean, that's the reality. Like, the news that Europe gets is different than the news we get. The news Australia gets different than, like, there's no free press here anymore. And this has been going on for a long time. This is not like, I mean, not a lot, like, this has been going on since January. Okay, so I just want to show this clip because I thought it was funny. CNN posted that, or played this yesterday.
What you're going to see hopefully tomorrow is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names. Everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know. There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children. What you're going to
remember that, Pam Bondi? But now this is all a hoax and no one knows. Oh, again, this is Donald Trump's 27th SA victim.
I'm considered number 27. I'm Donald Trump's 27th sexual assault victim. When I was doing Sports Illustrated, that's when he assaulted me. Jeffrey Epstein walked me into his office to be sexually assaulted by him.
Jeffrey Epstein walked me into his office to be SA'd by him. That's 27. But MAGA can't count and can't read. That's why I think every day I have to explain why Trump was found liable of SA. Trump confessed to his modus operandi. completely separate of this is 27. There's more than her. These people have passed polygraphs. They have corroborating witnesses. Like, it's only MAGA that can't find their way out of but MAGA cares about women. Now, I just want you to hear, because this is the future, right? Before I block Dale again, all last week, Dale's like, yeah, Trump's a creep. Like, but today, Dale's like, no, I backed Donald Trump. Yeah, because you're a fucking creep. But before, this is JD Vance today. And we need to be, JD Vance is 100% bought and paid for by Peter Thiel. If you want to hand this country forever to billionaires, let's put this weirdo in charge. He's also a Christian nationalist. Every single thing that Trump has done in this term, he has lied for him and he has backed. This is JD Vance this morning telling a giant lie for Donald Trump. It physically makes me ill to listen to JD Vance speak.
I guess I'm going to be that person. There are some protesters outside accusing the GOP.
Wait, by the way, we should be at like 300K. Yeah, oh my God, it's been almost 2 hours. Yeah, we should be at 300K. Let's all tap the screen. If you would like to support me the best way, this is my Cash App and Venmo. I don't know why my People's Receipts thing is gone. Also, where is it? Where's my... I don't know. It's TikTok Studio. I'll have to make another one. It used to say people's... I just realized that's gone. If you would like to support me, this is my Cash App and Venmo, or you can support me through gifts or subscriptions. Which reminds me, Lush and I Hate It gave a giveaway sub, and I was playing some clip, and then I walked away from my computer. Thank you so much for the giveaway sub. I'm trying to get to 440 subs. If you would like to buy a subscription, it's the yellow star in the bottom left-hand corner. But most importantly, when I'm doing this, I'm not crazy. Just tap the screen. And I'm sorry in advance, you have to hear JD Vance. And I don't want to scare anyone, but to me, he scares me more than Trump. Like, Trump is a senile guy who says men shouldn't wear makeup and then puts makeup on, and he like hates windmills and like things like sharks and batteries and all these things. I'm actually this guy who is owned by Peter Thiel. Has never done anything without billionaire tech money backing him. I think we should be much more worried about this weirdo. And when I ask myself, because like I have a clip of Marco Rubio later, when I ask myself like, what the is Marco Rubio doing? Like, has he been body snatched? He's angling to be this guy's running mate, right? He wants to be his VP.
Of protecting pedophiles, and we're wondering what you think are the reasons the U.S. government should shield the client list of Epstein from the public, and what you have to say about any relevance to that here today.
Well, let me say just a couple of things. First of all, the president has been very clear. We're not shielding anything. The president has directed the attorney general to release all credible information, and frankly, to go and find additional credible information related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. He's been incredibly transparent about that stuff, but some of that stuff takes time. You've got to assemble that stuff, you've got to compile that stuff, you've got to redact some victims' names so that you protect the victims. But the president has been very clear. He wants full transparency. He's asked that from the attorney general, and I know, because I talk to her all the time, the attorney general is hard at work on that issue right now. But I think I got to make an observation that there's an interesting thing about this case that the American media seems to totally ignore. I
just want to be clear, like, because MAGA, I have to stop in the middle. I know for most of us, our brains work, so we know that Couch Boy is lying. But if you're like, because MAGA's like, oh, a white male speaking, and he's young, and he has blue eyes, and maybe he'll help me. Okay, you just heard a series of pathological lies coming out of his mouth. He is now backing up because honestly, if JD Vance, in my opinion, wanted to be president, I would be like, hey, I'm not shielding any S-traffickers. I want no part of this. Like, release all the files. This is a series of obfuscations and lies. If that sounded good to you, then you are protecting child S traffickers. You're like lulled. You're like, yeah. No, that's you protecting child S traffickers. That was a bunch of lies. But this is remember, here's a good example. MAGA, remember how you said you don't trust any Ivy League graduates? Well, here's one. Pete Hegseth's one. Josh Hawley's one. Marco Rubio's one. Why don't we... Yeah, he's a Yale... What is it? He went to Yale, right? Is this a Yale-educated lawyer? I know Josh Hawley went to Yale. Ave, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo. You're amazing for today's receipts. And Jennifer, if you saw me laughing, that's what I was... Beat it again. Okay, this is just so everyone knows that I'm talking about before. Jennifer, you are so funny. I can't. You make me smile all the time. Okay, so you know how I finally blocked Dale/David again? Orange D, Dale/David. She said, beat it, Dale David. You'll never be our dad. And we all know that the only way you get any the only way you get any. Stay away from our TikTok mom. And if you don't get it, so this has gone on a long time, and it's actually even funnier than you think. So remember when I used to do lives with Jay, with RTP? And then, when I stopped, which, oh my God, we're almost coming up on a year, which I think was September. Jennifer has sent these hilarious messages anytime I do, a live with another man. She's like, is this our daddy? Is this our TikTok daddy? When are you going to get us a stepdad? So it's even funnier than you even think. Jennifer, you make me laugh so hard. The brilliant people on the internet, keep me, sane. I swear to God. I think, when Jennifer says find us another daddy, she means, someone to do lives with, I will. Jennifer, I will find you a stepdad. Just stay calm. I just don't want to make the same mistake I did before. Do you want me to find you a dad and then leave him? You can only marry 8 people in the United States. Let me figure it out. You'll have a father.
Years under Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the media didn't give a damn about the Epstein files or about the Epstein case. For literally 20 years, the story about this scumbag and
Sorry, I need to just go through that lie, because that's a big... JD Fix is such a liar. He is such a liar.
The American media seems to totally ignore. For 4 years under Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the media didn't give a damn about the Epstein files or about the Epstein case.
I'm sorry. What Joe Biden did was hold the only person accountable for the Epstein file. Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail because of Joe Biden and Merrick Garland. And the media very much covered that. I watched it as a child S abuse victim. I watched it with bated breath. What the... The only person who's ever been convicted in the Epstein files was because of Joe Biden and Merrick Garland. Period. Everyone else, the sweetheart deal, because I'm going to show Republicans lying through their teeth all day long. The sweetheart deal, that was Ron DeSantis. That was a state deal in Florida, right? That was Florida letting child S traffickers off. The Epstein investigation where he turned up no longer with us, that was Trump. And Trump's like, get over it. There's no there. Trump controls the entire government. Every Democrat in the House and Senate voted to release the Epstein files, and the Republicans did not. Get it right. There's only one faction of people covering up the Epstein files. And when September comes, which don't worry, these clips are coming, because I love Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna. They were on ABC yesterday just being like, as soon as September comes, those files are getting released.
For literally 20 years, the story about this scumbag, and he is a scumbag pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, he's dead now, but for 20 years, you had Obama and George W. Bush's Department of Justice go easy on this guy. They didn't fully investigate the case. They didn't show any curiosity about the case. And now Donald J. Trump...
They didn't hear what he did, this is why MAGA's brains don't work. So he's like, George W. Bush and Obama. Then he's like, and Joe Biden didn't do anything, even though the only person in jail is because of Joe Biden. And who was in between there? Anyone that can do the math? Oh, Trump's first term. That's right. Like, Couchboy thinks you're an idiot. Couchboy is an Ivy League educated lawyer, MAGA, who thinks you are dumb. He thinks your brain does not work. Prove him wrong, or don't, or just be like, yeah, I want to swallow this lie, just like I swallowed every single other lie that Donald Trump gave me. I want to guzzle these lies down. I love to swallow. MAGA, you swallow lies like I've never seen. I've never seen people swallow lies as fast and as happily as you do. Just extreme swallowing. Every single day, extreme swallowing from MAGA. Swallow it down. And then and like, how am I going to justify this? How does this make sense? How does this make sense? Obama's wearing Trump's skin. Obama's wearing Trump's skin. That's what it is. Obama's wearing Trump's skin. Like, you guys are idiots and you keep swallowing. Idiots who swallow. JD Vance is saying, hey, MAGA, look at me. I'm 40 years old and I have blue eyes. I'm an Ivy League educated lawyer who's insulting your intelligence. Are you dumb enough to follow me?
Is asking his Department of Justice to show full transparency, and somehow that's a criticism of Donald J. Trump and not Barack Obama and George W. Bush. If you want to criticize the people who aren't showing full transparency, you ought to go after the administrations that went easy on Jeffrey Epstein, the administrations that concealed this case for 20 years, and the administrations that failed to show full transparency. Donald J. Trump, I'm telling you, he's got nothing to hide. His administration has got nothing to hide, and that's why he's been an advocate for full transparency in this case. He's going to keep on being an advocate for full transparency, but while we're focused on that case, Donald J. Trump is also worried about making sure these great workers get more take-home pay and better jobs, and that's the focus of the administration.
MAGA, don't spit it out. Swallow it all. Don't spit it out. Swallow all of that bullshit from JD Vance. Couchboy just insulted your intelligence like 27 different times. Make sure you swallow, or your other choice is to join us in reality and recognize a cover-up when you see one. You have control of every part of government. There is no reason, if those files, at any moment, those files can come out. Even Elon Musk is very, on this one thing, for some reason, he seems to just be telling the truth. Actually, and I want to say this, if he had gotten his subsidies and the bribes he wanted, like in the big, beautiful bill, would Elon Musk care about children? I don't know. I want to believe he would, but I don't think I believe that. But as a result of not getting the bribes that Elon Musk wanted, now he is, telling the truth about Epstein. I'm just pointing this out. He was right. Right? That's Elon Musk was like, yeah, Epstein's Trump's all up in those files. Remember that? I guess and believe me, nobody would say that on the internet if it wasn't true, because you could be sued within an inch of your life. That's the moment. The moment that Elon Musk said Trump's all in the Epstein files, that's when I was like, no, I knew before for several other investigative reasons because my brain works, but I was like, man, well, let me circle back. That's when I knew it was coming out. That's when I knew journalists knew. That's when I knew Trump was desperate to cover it up. That's when I knew Elon Musk was going to help him until Trump betrayed him. That's when I knew all that. And Couchboy's like, Trump would never cover anything up. Okay, weirdo. Remember this? Fellow Christians, everyone is watching us when we apologize for this man. Lord help us. Does anyone remember this tweet from JD Vance? I do. Does anyone remember when he called him Mustache Man? Like, were you lying then, or are you lying now? This is a man with biracial children who's cheering on. God, I can't even. But I'm just pointing out. By the way, what the f happened to Vivek Ramaswamy? Is he still alive? Like, someone check on Vivek. Being brown on the right is not safe. Remember when he was like part of Doge? Like, is he gonna make it? Does anyone know where Vivek Ramaswamy is? I know, I heard he was. Is he actually running for governor though? I think that's not happening anymore. That's not gonna work. Have you been to Ohio? I'm too brown for Ohio. Like, he's not gonna be able to check the Everglades. He's not gonna be able to run for something in Ohio. That will never work. Okay, so this is good. This is yesterday. So again, the clock is ticking. I think that's why Trump seems so desperate, because I think Beto nailed it when he's like, God, he's flailing around. Like, this is real weird, because the discharge petition has ripened. August, the Congress is off. When the House is back in session in September, they're going to vote to release the Epstein files. And Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna, who are leading the discharge petition to do that, and they've already collected the signatures. They were on, God, I hate Kristen Welker, but she was less annoying yesterday.
Let me delve into this with you. We will get to Johnson in just a moment. The Department of Justice says they will not be releasing further Epstein material in order to protect what they say is more than 1,000 victims, many of whom were underage. I want to read you a little bit of a DOJ memo which writes, quote, sensitive information relating to these victims is intertwined throughout the materials. One of our highest priorities is combating child exploitation and...
Wait. So Obama didn't write the Epstein. Hold on. It can't be both. So MAGA, this is your moment. Do you realize? Wait, so Obama didn't write the Epstein files? There's 1,000 children that need to be protected. James Comey didn't make this all up. Oh, there's real children we should be protecting. That's so strange. So both things can't be true. So Trump has been covering up a child trafficking ring. For sure. We know for sure that he was told that he was all up in the files in April. Now we have victim after victim coming out, passing polygraphs, saying I reported twice to the FBI. We have all of these people we know said that all of this happened. And now we're hearing that they're trying to protect children. But I thought Obama made all of this up. It's just so weird. So which lie are you going with, MAGA? Do your brains work? Which lie are you going to believe? Which one sounds better to you? Which one can you swallow easier? You guys are idiots.
Bringing justice to victims, perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither one of those ends. What is your response to the concern that releasing these files could ultimately hurt the victims, Congressman Matt?
All the victims who are now adults say they want them released. That's what I would say.
See.
Well, look, that's a straw man. Roe and I carefully crafted this legislation so that the victims' names will be redacted and that no child pornography will be released. So they're hiding behind that. We're trying to get justice for the victims and transparency for America. And so, we've redacted things before. We don't want to hurt the victims. We're doing this for the victims. I think it's just something that they're hiding behind. And at the end of that statement, I heard something about conspiracy theories or something like that. Look, they're the ones, it's the president's own attorney general, FBI director, and children who said that, and vice president, who said that these files need to be released. We're just trying to hold their feet to the fire.
Well, let me delve into this with you.
God. And I don't love, Thomas Massey annoys me on other issues, but like, at least there's one person on the right that's like, hey, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. Like, I'm finding him more and more likable every day that goes on.
House Speaker Mike Johnson has defended that decision. He says, look, the White House is already pushing for the release of the grand jury materials. Obviously, that's been held up in court. He's accusing you of trying to inflict political pain on your party by criticizing him for adjourning the House early. Is he right? Are you trying to inflict political pain with this criticism?
I don't know why it should be politically painful to be transparent. Is the pain he's talking about that somebody in our party will be embarrassed by those files? Then that's not a good excuse. Is the pain he's talking about is that the legislators, when they vote, have to pick between protecting embarrassment of the rich and powerful versus getting justice for victims? I don't really understand what he means by that. Why is it painful for Mike Johnson to call a vote on this? And it's, the American people deserve this, regardless of what the political ramifications are for the speaker.
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Preach. Like, truly, what is painful if you actually care about children? And I'm going to blow your mind, MAGA. If, in fact, you decide you do, then we need to talk about real math and what every piece of legislation that has been brought in the last 20 years has done to damage children's lives in this country. You don't care about children mathematically. You're engineering their ability to thrive out of existence, period. But if you care about this, allegedly, right? I mean, this is just the start. This was your cause. This is your cross to bear. Do you care or not?
So Congressman Khanna, we had this rather extraordinary visit to Florida of Todd Blanche to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. Do you agree with those who say that she should testify, wanting her to testify before Congress?
I do. I have skepticism, given she was indicted of perjury, given she has a motive for getting a pardon. I didn't love that Todd Blanche was meeting with her allegedly one-on-one, but I'm for all the evidence coming out. It's important, though, that this is not something that is anti-President Trump. This is for transparency. I'm less concerned about his mentions. I'm much more concerned about the hundreds of people who were powerful and rich who had impunity, and I'm concerned about restoring justice for the victims. He promised to expose this. I think the American people don't think he's a perfect person. They thought he was going to expose a system that wasn't working for them, and that's really what this is about.
What would be the reaction if he actually went through and did some form of clemency, granted some form of clemency to Ghislaine Maxwell? Congressman Khanna?
Well, I think people would say, why is he doing that? And can we really believe Maxwell's testimony? I mean, I don't love the broad pardon power in the first place. I think it has been abused. I think at this point, though, what the American people desperately need is for all of the evidence and the files to come out so they can decide for themselves. So they're not relying on Maxwell. So they're not relying on even congressional committees. Let the American people decide.
And how would you react to a pardon or clemency?
I don't think she deserves that or needs that. I mean, she's guilty of crimes, but it's hard to believe that she herself and Epstein did these crimes by themselves, right? Yeah. So it's time to find out who else was involved. And I agree with Roe here. The bank records don't lie. The documents don't lie. They don't change. The plea bargains that have been sealed don't lie. Let's release those.
So Congressman Khanna, we had this...
Preach. Amen. Follow the money.
There was this story in the Wall Street Journal about a birthday message that the journal reports that Trump wrote to Epstein for his 50th birthday, and it is part of a book of messages. Obviously, the president denies that he did this. He's suing the Wall Street Journal over it. But would you support something that Congressman Khanna has been calling for, which is pressing the estate of Jeffrey Epstein, subpoenaing the estate to turn that book over?
Well, I think we should get a lot more than just the book. Let's get the financial records of the estate. Follow the money, as they say up here. We should look at the plea bargain, open that up, see what was the deal that was cut. I think there's a lot more than just that letter, but that letter is also sort of representative of something that's embarrassing but not illegal. Another reason why these files may be sealed and stay sealed. But we're going to force a vote on this when we get back from the August recess. Ro Khanna and I are using a procedure in the House called a discharge petition, whereby if we get 218 votes, and we're well on our way to that, 218 signatures, then we can force the vote.
So you're just going to need a couple more Republicans to sign that if Democrats go along. Are you going to get that?
If every Democrat signs this, I've already got 12 Republican co-sponsors, and I only need 6 to sign it.
But will they sign? I mean, will they? Because that's taking control.
Absolutely, they'll sign. Stop being weird. Of course, we have, what he's saying is, just to be clear, we needed 6 Republicans. We have 12. We have the mother effing votes. And come September, it is judgment day for creepy rich people that have been touching children. I mean, MAGA, this is what you wanted, right? You should be happy. And not gaslighting and being like, grand jury testimony, that has nothing in it. The real Epstein files in their entirety should be released. We should figure out who has done what. And I just want to be clear, because on Saturday when I was debating, it was like, what about Bill Clinton? Great. I have said this. He creeps me the F out. First of all, I mean, just the Monica Lewinsky thing, we owe her a giant apology. Let me explain to you how things work in corporate America. If you are here and then there's someone on this tier of employment and you engage in any type of physical or sexual contact with them, you're guilty. It's called using a position of power to coerce people. That's it. That's the whole story. I don't understand why people don't get it. The president of the United States had some intern who is in a much lower position of power. Guilty. I mean, it's not hard to understand. And I'm not even talking. And I have the clip. I don't know if we're going to get to it. But Trump keeps being like, well, I didn't go. Wait, what did he say? Never mind. I need to show you guys right now because this is how sick Trump is. He's really gross. God, this is the grossest thing. I mean, he said so. Well, I do think you should hear all the gross things. He said many gross things today. Ugh, they're so gross. Actually, first, let's hear from 2 Epstein victims. Again, this is Virginia Guffrey. Because I keep saying this. On Friday, I gave 2 recommendations of documentaries because I'm saying I want people to understand that the victims of Epstein do not want Ghislaine Maxwell pardon. They are horrified by the idea that this woman who groomed, terrorized, and also essayed them would get away without punishment.
She did it because she loves the control over people. Jeffrey was a sick pedophile, but she was the mastermind.
What would justice look like for you when it comes to Ghislaine Maxwell?
I would like to see Ghislaine stay in jail forever. I'd like her to apologize for what she's done to me and so many others.
Yeah, I mean, truly. This is Maria Farmer, who's passed polygraphs.
I've never met a more predatory, terrifying human being in my entire life, and neither had Virginia Giuffre, and neither has Annie, or Anushka, or many girls like Shantae Davies. There's hundreds of us that were preyed upon by Ghislaine Maxwell. She's a very dangerous person, and she threatened my life on many occasions. I've had to move and be in hiding because of this predatory child predator and just victim predator. So it's completely unacceptable for anyone to call her a victim. The woman is not a victim. She's a victimizer. I've never met a more...
If you're wondering why she's saying that, that's because Trump has Newsmax. Trump has people on Fox Well, on Newsmax, directly calling Ghislaine Maxwell a victim who should be pardoned. And on Fox, he has people implying it. Ghislaine Maxwell is not a victim. She also engaged, and someone asked what documentaries on, if you have access to Stars, it's called I Am Ghislaine Maxwell. I was just noticing this weekend, there's another, hold on, I think I started on my watch list. There's another one on Netflix as well about Ghislaine. And you need to understand that there is nobody these people were also, Ghislaine Maxwell, Filthy Rich is on Netflix. But the one on Stars, I Am Ghislaine Maxwell, it's people from the UK in her past. Like, you have to understand who her dad was, like how much wealth this woman comes from. She's disgusting. She trafficked a bunch of poor children to a billionaire to be exploited and used. And then Trump is feeding to Newsmax and other outlets that she's a victim. And okay, so I was playing the interview of Gavin Newsom at the beginning of this live. He was being interviewed by Brian Tyler Cohen, but Brian Tyler Cohen is a brilliant lawyer, and he was just, demonstrating a line of logic. This is what MAGA can't do, because when you follow a line of logic, then you'd have to come to the conclusion that Trump's a piece of shit.
Let's just use some basic human common sense. You've got a guy who, when he wanted votes from people who care about the Epstein files, said, let's release the Epstein files. And then he filled his cabinet with people who said, let's release the Epstein files. And all of them banged that drum over and over and over for months and years. And then they won the election, and they took power, and they could finally substantiate the very things they vowed to do, and they promised to do them. And then one day, they said the files just didn't exist and the case was closed. And then a few days later, they said, okay, actually the files do exist, but they're fake. And then they said the files were actually forged by Obama, even though Obama never released the files that he purportedly forged. And now they're saying, forget about all of that. And in fact, Obama should go to prison, but for something completely unrelated to the Epstein files. So we should all just talk about that instead, and everybody needs to stop talking about Epstein. Judging based on those facts, just as normal human beings with a normal amount of common sense, do you think that maybe, just maybe, Trump might be covering something up? Do you think that maybe his story isn't checking out? Do you think that if a Democrat did what Trump is doing right now, that Republicans would just buy their story? Something tells me that there would be investigation after investigation in every single committee, prodded on by nonstop news coverage on every single right-wing network. And guess what? They would be right to do that. Let's just use some basic human.
And that's how a line of logic is followed without it collapsing in on itself, Matt. Sorry, I just can't. I find it so funny because MAGA, it's just debating on Saturday. I was just like, man, these people are so dumb. There's no hope. Someone asked who he is. Here, Brian Tyler Cohen. He's amazing. He's on TikTok and stuff, but I think primarily, if you want to see his stuff live, follow his podcast on YouTube, Brian Tyler Cohen. And he's also, I'm not saying hang out on X, but he's really active on X. It's a scary place for mental health. But yeah. He also does an amazing podcast with Glenn Kirshner, who's a former federal investigator. Brian Tyler Cohen is amazing. I just want to hear this again. This is how I know MAGA's done. Because, I can do these lines of logic all day long, but I'm just a woman with a tiny brain talking. So let's listen to a white man who passed the bar, who's beholden to the ethics of the bar. Say it again.
Let's just use some basic human common sense. You've got a guy who, when he wanted votes from people who care about the Epstein files, said, let's release the Epstein files. And then he filled his cabinet with people who said, let's release the Epstein files. And all of them banged that drum over and over and over for months and years. And then they won the election, and they took power, and they could finally substantiate the very things they vowed to do, and they promised to do them. And then one day, they said the files just didn't exist and the case was closed. disclosed. And then a few days later, they said, okay, actually the files do exist, but they're fake. And then they said the files were actually forged by Obama, even though Obama never released the files that he purportedly forged. And now they're saying, forget about all of that. And in fact, Obama should go to prison, but for something completely unrelated to the Epstein files. So we should all just talk about that instead. And everybody needs to stop talking about Epstein. Judging based on those facts, just as normal human beings with a normal amount of common sense, do you think that maybe, just maybe, Trump might be covering something up? Do you think that maybe his story isn't checking out? Do you think that if a Democrat did what Trump is doing right now, that Republicans would just buy their story? Something tells me that there would be investigation after investigation in every single committee, prodded.
But MAGA's dumb. So we can't, unfortunately, like to the rest of us whose brains, you don't have to be a genius. Like you know what I mean? Like you just have to be basically just think like, hey, in the last 3 months, Trump told me 12 different lies about the Epstein files. I now know to be patently, undeniably, irrefutably false. Why would he make up 12 different lies on all these different days, flail around, pretend like he had never said the lies the day before and make up a new one? You know, I mean, if you can't get there, Vega, we can't take you there. You know what I mean? There's no way to do it. Do you guys want to hear Trump in Scotland tell these lies about these files? Because I clipped it like this morning. He's like, oh, these files are a hoax, like it's all made up. Do you want this is him in Scotland today.
Mr. President, you have said that you have not been briefed on the Epstein files, or your name has not appeared in the Epstein files. But doesn't the AG have to tell you if your name is...
Well, I haven't been overly interested in it. You know, it's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this, those files were run.
This is how I know Trump's like senile, right? He cannot remember the lies he tells. Like, we've now come full circle. Like, okay, last week you admitted it wasn't a hoax, and he forgot, and he's old orange grandpa who says men shouldn't wear makeup but puts a full face of makeup on every day, forgot about the last week's 5 new stories, and we are literally full circle back to it's a hoax. Somebody come get orange grandpa. He's not well.
By the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey. They were run by Garland. They were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen. Those files were run for 4 years.
Yeah, the same auto pen that signed the J6 pardons. I look forward to us invalidating all auto pen pardons.
By those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax. They ran the files. I was running against somebody that ran the files. If they had something, they would have released. Now, they can easily put something in the files that's a phony. Like, as an example, Christopher Steele, a person you know well, happens to be from...
How effing bad is it that he's back to this? Like, this was the lie from 3 weeks ago. He told 12 more lies in between, and we're back to this lie. This is how scared he is. He doesn't know which lie to tell. MAGA, do any of... MAGA, this is just request right now. You can do it. Explain to me which lie is the truth. Was it Comey? What was it, Obama? The only person that was ever prosecuted was prosecuted under Joe Biden. Ghislaine Maxwell was prosecuted by Merrick Garland under Joe Biden. You explain to me how any of these lies, I promise you, if you understand the timeline of this, not one word of this makes any sense. So explain to me what he is talking about. He's told many different lies, and we're now back at this one. It's hilarious.
The country. But Christopher Steele, as an example, wrote a book, a dossier. We call it the fake news dossier. And the whole thing was a fake. The whole thing
wasn't. That's factually untrue. Many things in the Steele dossier were certified as true. God, every word out of this man's mouth is a lie.
Was a fake. They can put things in the file that are fake, but those files were run by bad, sick people. If they had anything, why didn't they use it when I was...
So I love as someone who is raised by a malignant narcissist, I do love when they project exactly who they are onto what they're like. There's a bad, sick person out here. You mean you, Dad? Are you talking about you again, Grandpa? Orange Grandpa? Please stop projecting who you are onto the rest of us. I love when they do that. There's some bad, sick guy out here. It couldn't be me, but I don't know. I think there's some bad, sick guy running around. I think everyone should look for him. I think we could all identify him. It's not, I think we could all figure out who the bad, sick guy is.
Killing Joe, and then he gave out because he was 25 points down. And then I got somebody new. Nobody...
He didn't mention Hillary. No, but you know what's funny about that? Yesterday on Fox News, John Radcliffe, who is now running the CIA and is a complete weirdo, said he was going to prosecute Hillary Clinton for the same thing that now today Trump doesn't mention Hillary Clinton, but says there's evidence that Joe Biden or that Obama, James Comey, did it. I have the clip, but like the director of the CIA was talking to Liarton, Maria Bartiromo yesterday, being like, we're going to prosecute Hillary Clinton for this. I'm telling you, I read every page that Tulsi Gabbard released on this. I put it into an AI tool and started asking it questions. There's no new information in any of it. It's all a lie. And that's how I know MAGA's dumb. Because I debated on Saturday and they're like, yeah, Obama's up to something. Just don't say that. Just enter the live and say, I can't read. Like, that would be more honest.
I didn't know anything about her. She was a horrible vice president. She was a border czar, but she never went to the border. She never once called a border patrol agent to find out how we're doing. But she was the border czar. Her name...
That's a lie. Old grandpa cannot keep things straight. Oh, here's where he says he doesn't draw things.
For the election, yeah.
Do you think that drawing, I think I heard you say something the other day, that the drawing that was the subject of the Wall Street Journal report.
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person.
You think it was fraudulent?
I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity stuff. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women.
Just want to confirm that the estate of Jeffrey Epstein has confirmed they have this book, and the drawing is inside of it. So I can't do this. And they said they would turn it over to Congress if they wanted it. And yeah, here's all the drawings. Like, he's not a drawing person. The literal description of the drawing in that book is that it's done with a black marker. This is what you call a serial killer's modus operandi. I don't draw except when I draw. I don't do many drawings except the things I draw. But MAGA's so stupid they won't be able to figure out I'm a liar. I don't draw except for all the things I drew. It's really simple. No one will ever figure out that I'm lying. I don't ever draw except for all of the times that it has been documented that I draw, and not just with anything, right? Because I want to explain to you how artistry works. I used to fancy myself an artist. I actually am a pretty good artist. I'm like a mixed media artist. I use oils, acrylics. I use decoupage, like all sorts of things. He only has one medium. It is dumbass black marker and white piece of paper. I don't draw except when I draw exactly in the same way every single time since I was born, and it has all been documented on the Way Back machine. And every single time I draw the exact same way. And this could all probably be authenticated by handwriting experts, but I never draw except for all the times I draw. Yeah, we got it, dumbass. How dumb are you, MAGA? How dumb are you? This is the moment, MAGA. How dumb? We're playing a game called How Dumb Are You? Are you this dumb? Are you this dumb? Are you? Or are you not? Like, you are, though. I know it. I already know. I've played this game for years now. You are, in fact, this dumb.
And also, Epstein was always a very controversial guy. I was at a very high position, pretty much all my life. In all fairness, I've been...
Allegedly, he only drew pubes. No, Lucky, his signature was the pubes. He didn't only draw out pubes. His signature was the pubes, which can be authenticated by a handwriting expert, which rumor in the journalist world, and on Capitol Hill blogs, is that's part of the reason that the Wall Street Journal was confident they could print it. It's because the pubes was, in fact, his signature. Look, that was AutoPen. Yeah, which AutoPen is an exact replica of his signature. No, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, quite literally, we're not... MAGA, are you this dumb? Is today the day when you're like, God, I'm so embarrassed by how dumb I am. I think I should stop being dumb. Maybe today's the day, MAGA. One or two of you could stop humiliating yourselves by your own idiocy. We never know when one or two of you might be like, God, I'm tired of being embarrassed and supporting child trafficking. Maybe I'll stop being an idiot today. We have no hope for any of you, but I'm just pointing out that you are on the wrong side of history. You are supporting child traffickers. All that bullshit we had to listen with your tiny pea brains about the deep state. You are protecting the very people that you said you wanted to root out. They just weren't who you thought they were because you're an idiot. You have been exploited in every single way. And you are idiots. And it's just like, hey, are you going to ride this train to the end? Or are you going to hop off it? That's the only question. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I can't listen to some of the stuff. Here's another one.
People keep writing stories about the time you threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. Can you settle that? What was it about? What caused the breach with him?
That's such old history. Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I...
Just to be clear, the first lie was it was over a real estate dispute. The second lie was that it was because Jeffrey diddled a child of a member of Mar-a-Lago. And now we find out that Trump was like, I'm exploiting brown people. And now you're trying to steal the brown people I'm exploiting. And I don't like it. So again, MAGA, it's so great to figure out who this person is. Again, you were wrong about that. Oh, and here we go. I love when 3PDOs are like, wait a minute, don't blame me, blame the other 3PDO, because he's a worse 3PDO. That's the best defense. I think he should probably mount this defense in court. Hey, just because I'm a creep doesn't mean there's not worse creeps.
That was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot.
He never had the privilege of going to a 3P. I'm sorry. I never had the privilege of going to 3PDO Island. Hold on. Can we just Can we hear it? After being like throwing other 3 PDOs under the bus. Don't look at me. Look at these 3 PDOs I used to hang out with. But I never went to the island. By the way, because my brain works, so let me help you, MAGA. Every single court case that we can mount has to be within U.S. jurisdiction, right? Everything we've ever had, the Epstein files, they're about that townhouse, that creepy ranch in New Mexico, and Palm Beach. We don't have jurisdiction of that island. And you know what's funny when Trump's like, I never been to the island. Well, it's funny because you employed lawyers who went to that island. You put somebody who went to that island in your cabinet. Super weird that like, it seemed like you were super close with all the people who had been there.
I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
One of my good moments. He just confessed, MAGA. This is today in Scotland. He confessed. He confessed. He didn't say, no, he's on the Epstein flight logs 8 times, just to be clear. But again, we can't do anything about an island. Do you guys not understand how like law works? It doesn't matter who went to that island. This is about the New York townhouse, the Palm Beach house, and the New Mexico house. We don't have jurisdiction. Yes, I know. Super. I've said it the privilege of going to that island. He said, in one of my better moments, I didn't go. He just confessed. Like, MAGA's like, he just, I don't know. It's not. Yeah, you guys are protecting a child trafficker. You guys are creeps. We know. It's fine. Oh, I love this moment from John Oliver's show yesterday. You have to see this.
It's understandable why Trump's struggling to get even his own base to take his word for it that there is nothing to see here, because to do so, you essentially have to believe everything we've learned about Trump over the years is irrelevant or sheer coincidence, that all Trump did was repeatedly host Epstein at Mar-a-Lago, have him at his wedding, hang out with him at Victoria's Secret fashion shows, get listed as a passenger on his plane 8 times, joke with him at a party while pointing out hot women and saying something into his ear that got the most grotesque smile in the history of human expressions. Tell a reporter, I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy, he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side, and allegedly hosts a calendar girl competition where, other than the 24 or so women flown in to provide the entertainment, the only guests were him and Jeffrey Epstein. You'd also have to forget about Trump bragging about his ability to grab women's genitals and claiming he could go backstage at his beauty pageants while women were getting dressed, something he was accused of doing by 5 Miss Teen USA contestants, and once remarking of his own infant daughter Tiffany that she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this yet, but time will tell. Beyond that, though, there's nothing there. Except for a jury finding him liable for sexual abuse, but other than that, there's nothing to see. It's understandable why Trump's...
Again, this is how I know you're dumb. This is how. If you're ever like, God, why is she so sure we're dumb? Because I can read, I can do math, I have the ability to follow a line of logic, I can use deductive reasoning, and thereby, I am 100% sure you are dumb. That's it. And you are covering up child trafficking. And it's despicable, and you are on the wrong side of history, and you will be remembered as such. That's the truth. I mean, you should enjoy it. And by the way, about Obamagate, I was remembering a clip. Remember, the guy who determined that Russia interfered in the 2016 election was Marco Rubio, the guy who's angling now, acting like Mustache Man to be J.D. Vance's vice president on the 2028 ticket. Remember when he was saying this? This is 2017.
Cyber tools were used as a means to an end. It isn't necessarily what we should be focused on here. What we're talking about here is active measures. The active measures taken by the government of Vladimir Putin to influence and to potentially manipulate American public opinion for the purpose of discrediting individual political figures, sowing chaos and division in our politics, sowing doubts about the legitimacy of our elections. So if you look at the situation we now face, here's the aftermath. We had an election where after some
966-page report, MAGA. You can read about this bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee that was chaired by Marco Rubio, of which he determined everything that Trump is now saying Obama lied about actually happened.
intrusions into some state databases. There was a one nominee for president warning about fraud in the election. And then after the election, we have some on the other side questioning the legitimacy of the president-elect because of Russian interference. And we have the president-elect questioning the credibility of the intelligence community because of its findings. This sounds like a pretty effective and successful effort to sow chaos, to undermine credibility of our leaders and of our government institutions. In essence, it sounds like they achieved what they wanted, to get us to fight against each other over whether our elections were legitimate and divide us in the way that sows the sort of chaos that they sought to achieve.
That's not true. Sorry, I'm just talking about the comments. My microphone is like literally 100% louder. I'm just not screaming, right? Than this is. Like, I have an audio mixer. I can see the levels of volume they're set to. It's just sometimes I can't control the level of this audio when I record it. So it might sound louder, but it's not. Like, as far as the levels of the audio mixer and the audio mixer on my computer, no. Don't worry, I've got it. I understand how to control sound, but thank you. But again, yeah, that's Marco Rubio. I don't even know if I have this in me. And actually, I just heard my dad get home. What time is it? Oh, I'm so sorry I started late. I wanted to make sure I covered 3 hours, but I do need to take my dad to have blood drawn right now. So I'm going to have to go. I will be live with Matt, USMC Angry Veteran. I said this, he's been all over the place lately, but he's back. So tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, we will be live, and anything I didn't cover, we'll just scream at each other tomorrow and we'll show you. But yeah, the fix is in. Like, this is such a joke. It's just, MAGA, you decide how far you're going to take your cover up of child abuse. Like, you decide when you hop off the child predator train. You're all on it. You just decide when you exit the train. But just keep going. Why stop now? I think that's the point. No point in stopping now. You guys are doing so great. Keep it up. So again, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on Matt's platform, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. See you guys there. Later, Gators. Love you.